That's $10,000, Connor. Ha ha! Yeah! 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 This show is not for sharpshooters. This show is a fucking machine gun. There's no chewy center to this show. It's all hard candy. This show is not a sniper on a fucking roof. This show is a drone taking out a village. Do not invite me into your house because I will come in and I will wreak fucking havoc. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. It's weird right now because I can hear myself and I don't like it. I always hear myself because I have earbuds in, but again, I don't have my earbuds today, and that always seems to be a thing. What is it, every fourth episode I forget my earbuds, and then I spend 9 minutes telling you that I don't have earbuds? Not that you care, but I like to paint a picture, folks. I like to bring you into the stripper's kitchen so you can see exactly what's going on here. You can see me, you can see Lily with her ripped t-shirt and no bra. You can check that out, folks. Believe me, if you want to see ripped t-shirt and no bra, look over at Lily. You don't even have to worry about me with no earbuds. Don't look over here at me because, I'm just telling you, I'm more of a theater of the mind. She's more of a theater of the eyes. That's right. Pull it down. Why, don't cross your arms in front of yourself now. That seems ridiculous.
Why are you going to be self-conscious?
Self-conscious about your tits? They're out all the time. I don't know why you'd be self-conscious about that. It seems weird. Also, by the way, folks, let's talk about this for just a second. That was my friend Lily Von Schupp. Yes, she still works here.
I still live here.
She still lives here. Yeah. She allowed me in her home again this week. Let me tell you folks something about feedback, and let me tell you folks something about jumping in and trying. I just, how do I put this? Relax. And it seems weird that I would be telling you to relax, when for the past week all I've been reading from all of you are emails that tell me to relax. I will tell you this: if there is ever a schism, an unrepairable schism, an unreparable schism in this show that leads to somehow Lily and I splitting up and she starting her own podcast and me taking my podcast on the road, I no longer have any question about where your allegiances lie, folks. I think it is fairly obvious that I will lose each and every audience member that I've cultivated over the past 6 years. You will all single file march. You will all get on Lily's Andy Kaufman school bus and drive away for milk and cookies away from me at the theater. I will just be outside with my pockets outturned, shunned, talking into a microphone, talking into space, talking to nobody, talking at the speed of my head for no listeners, no one whatsoever. Because Lily would just have a laughing podcast. She wouldn't even bother to talk to you guys. She would just start laughing, and you guys would be like, oh, this is the part of the show I love. This is my favorite part. Now we got that dead weight that we cut loose. We don't have to write them any more fucking mean emails. Folks, I don't understand what leads you to hit send. Listen, I understand writing shitty emails. If you want to sit down and write a mean email to me, that's fine. What I don't understand is the hitting send part of it. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Get it out of your system, get it all out with the cursor and out on your screen and go, oh, all right, well, that would really teach him something, and then delete it. And that goes double for the people who wrote letters of support to Lily. To tell her that everything was going to be okay, and the mean man was only coming over once a week, and then I should shut up, and that she was right and I was wrong, and folks, I don't listen. You have friends, right? All of you out there have friends. Well, maybe you don't. That's why you spend your Thursdays with me. Maybe that's why you jam your tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds all the way into your medulla oblongata and let me fill your brain pan on fucking Thursday mornings because you're solo. You're flying solo. You're sans friends. But I can tell you this: if you had friends. Or maybe you do. I'm being silly to presume that you don't. But you have friends. And sometimes, folks, you have disagreements with your friends, right? I just had this. This also happened with another friend of mine, as a matter of fact. I'm going to tell this story for no reason, and he's probably going to be disappointed, but that's okay. My friend Murray Valeriano, who is the host of the Road Stories podcast, he and I have recently become acquainted and become friends. He started to play poker with us and hang out a bit, and it turns out I really like Murray. He seems like he's like a really fun guy. So the first time I ever did his podcast, it was me and Paul Gilmartin, and we went to Murray's house. And I've told this story on here before, and I apologize, but there's a point. We went to the podcast at Murray's house, Paul Gilmartin and I, and Murray catered it. Murray's like, dude, I got a ton of food for you guys. Here's this Thai food. So I'm like, that is so amazing. Thank you so much. Now look, let's talk about Thai food for just a second, folks. I like Thai food, but there is some stuff on the Thai menu that I look askance at. I will not lie. There is some stuff on the Thai menu that I will raise my eyebrow at. Case in point, the Mikrob raised eyebrow. Not delicious. Do not enjoy it. They take the eyebrows of various and sundry animals and they mix them together in a nice stir fry with a sweet sauce and crunchy noodles. And I'm not a fan. I must say I'm not a fan. There's certain Thai foods I like, and I'm willing to be adventurous and try certain stuff. We go to Toy, and I have a crab fried rice. I've had Thai spaghetti. I like all sorts of different stuff, folks. I like Dearest Crab, which is like, and I love angel wings. Those are good, too. I love all that food. Listen, folks, let's get out a Thai menu and run down what I like and don't like. I'm going to read every single item, and you can go, or no. There's a podcast, or no. And just a guy saying food entrees, and you have to vote. Yeah, I guess that's more of a live experience. Forget that. It's not a podcast. It's a live experience. I'm booking a theater and having that show happen. They'll just, you know what? How great would that be? It'd be like set up like, remember Grover when he had the lunch thing? And he brought a picture of lunch for that guy, and the guy's trying to match his lunch to the picture, and it was never matching. And then unfortunately, Grover had to yell at Charlie, the chef. Grover's made quite a few appearances this year in this show. Grover, I'm betting Grover's in the interlude. Because Grover has made several appearances. We named a show Near Far, as a matter of fact. So yeah, Grover is Blue Elmo, as we've talked about. Fuck you, Blue Elmo. We said that before too. All right. No, we said that's why I said fuck you, Red Grover. That's what it was. Fuck you, Red Grover. Folks, I'm great. Really. I'll go back sometimes and I'll hear a snippet of something and I go, that's really funny. I should remember that. Nope, never. You know what I need? I need an intern. I need an intern to go through and pull out all the funny. Hey Lily, how are you interested in being an intern and pulling out all the funny?
No.
All right, just checking. So Murray Valeriano says he's going to have the podcast. We go over to his house and he caters it with Thai food. And again, like I said, Thai food is a mystery. Some stuff's really good. They have the Tom Yum Goong soup or whatever the fuck and all that. And everything's very good. But Murray decided that all of us should eat red curry. Or green curry or curry, I think, because it rhymed with Murray. I have no idea why I ordered it, but he ordered a bunch of Thai food that I wouldn't get. Like it was literally like I think he ordered burnt bamboo shoots. Like that was that. And so it was just this. I'm talking bamboo, like the giant, like it looks like a saw blade. I mean, it's just fucking terrible. So I look at it, and I'm just like, nobody would eat this ever. And he had some spring rolls, but they were freezing cold. And I ate one of those, and I was just like, that was a regret. Because it was just like a rolled up tin of oil. It was so bad. So then we did the show, and it turned out to be fine. So then, somewhere along the line, I made fun of Murray for the food. I was either on here or somewhere else, and Murray heard it. Okay. And this is like 3 years ago. Murray won't let it go. So then I do a show again. I go in with Pat Francis and Chip Chinnery, and he orders pizza, which is different than Thai food. Again, pizza's pizza, and we all love pizza, unless you get artichoke hearts on it. Like one of the pizzas had like artichoke hearts and olives, and the other pizza just said not for Mike. Like it had a sign on it. I couldn't eat it. I was not allowed to try it. And so I made fun of that too. I'm like, what is? And I think I made fun of it on his show. I'm like, what is with this pizza, dude? What is your problem? And so I busted his balls on his own show. So then he never. Every time I saw him from that point on, he would mention the food constantly. It would always come up at poker. Because then at poker, we all bring something to eat. Like someone will bring a bag of chips. And one day he came right off the set and he brought craft services food. And he goes, oh, Schmidt, I don't know if this meets your approval, but I went ahead and brought this food. You've got to take a look at it first before you're going to bust my balls on. Like immediately got that right out. I'm like, Murray, you're a nice man who brought food. It's okay. I made fun of you twice in my life. It doesn't, but literally for 3 years, he won't stop. So just recently, he had asked me to be on the Road Stories podcast again, but he didn't really ask me. I got an email, and in the header of it, it just said, against my better judgment. And I opened it up, and it said, look, I would never think about asking you back, but I'm going to have a certain guest, and this guest thought that you would be a good guest with them, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, so he said, but what? And then in the next paragraph, he goes, I'm just busting your balls on the food thing. You get that, right? So then I figured 3 years was probably enough. Because the message has come through loud and clear that it bothered him in some way. So, you know me, folks. I'm always quick to jump to the aid of anyone who I feel I may have slighted. And by might, I mean have. Might is a qualifier that does not belong in that sentence, folks. So I took it upon myself to reply to Murray with an email, and I just gave him the John Cleese apology. you know, from Fish Called Wanda. I unreservedly apologize, but not really. I mean, but not smarmy. I mean, for real. The one I've had to give so many times over the years. The one I'm sure Jimmy Pardo could recite from memory at this point because I've had to give it to him so many times. Whenever I have some sort of dust up or in some sort of rang-a-dang with people, I wind up having to sit there and I try to get by it. I've had a few rang-a-dangs with people. You never know. Look, I've had a dust up. I've had a scrum. I like a good scrap. And sometimes, folks, I've had a brouhaha. Well, I've had a brouhaha, but I'll tell you what, when your brouhaha gets out of control, you got a fucking rang-a-dang. And you know what else happens? Sometimes you get a rowdy down. Or a rowdy dow. Or a Roddy McDowell. Please do not have a Roddy McDowell with anyone. Oh, that's awful. You get a pain right in the Cornelius. Ouch. Oh, doctor, could you look at my Zira? No. So I orangutan. Come on, that's awesome. So then I wrote down the that's all I could. That's literally that's what popped in my head. Orangutan. It was perfect. I don't think I've ever said that before. And you know what you really don't want to have with people? Orang dang diggity dang a dang. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You do not want to have a rang dang diggity dang a dang. Honestly, turn it off. We're done. I should get out on that. I'll never fucking top it. Oh, God damn it. Yeah. I want to go back to doing stand up just so I can make that noise after every good joke. Which means 3 times a night probably for me. Just because I want to try to get strangers on board with that and go, what the fuck are you doing? Which is now, by the way, folks, which is now my ringtone, and I laugh every time it goes off. I mean, it just fucking kills me because I have my phone on vibrate with that, and the vibrate will kick in, and I have mine now this Pavlovian reaction where when the vibration hits, I know that in just a second it's gonna go. So I start laughing already. It went off at my work, and I let it keep ringing like at the table, and everybody just looked. Nobody even bothered to ask. They just did that thing where they turned their head and looked at me like, what the fuck is that noise? That's what it is. God damn it. My phone is vascular and yoked, folks. As is the phone of some of you out there who went ahead and availed themselves of the free ringtone. Some of you downloaded it from Facebook. Some of you wrote me to get it, which was very nice. Let's talk about our friend Sal for just a second. Sal's like, dude, I can't get it off the website. I can't get it off Facebook. Could you do me a favor and send me the ringtone? Dude, my 8-year-old and my 4-year-old say you're dirt. It's hysterical. I have them saying it all over the house. And I'm like, dude, you have to send me video of your family. Like, you must. Oh, I don't think I asked him for it. I was gonna, but I thought that was creepy. Send me video of your 8 and your 4-year-old. Please, can I have video of your 8 and your 4-year-old, Sal? Better yet, I'll just come by and spend some time with the boys. Why don't you go ahead and step out? I'd like to teach them the proper way to yurt, dirt.
Oh, that sounds bad.
See? You can spin it bad. You can make it sound terrible.
That sounds bad.
Do I need to write the John Cleese apology to Sal and his kids?
No.
Dear Sal and his kids. So the point being, folks, that to avoid a huge rigmarole, I went ahead and wrote Murray the apology, with like 4 paragraphs of, please know I respect you as a person, and because I had to do this before, and I got fired from a gig just like 2 years ago. Did I talk about that on here? I don't want to say who because you guys might know who it is. Whatever. I was working independently for somebody, and I was writing jokes, and there was a thing where I was getting paid a certain amount, but I had a question about it. I may have talked about this on the air. And so I would repeatedly kind of ask them every week. I'd be like, just clarifying the math for my own, fucking edification. And finally he was just like, you know what, this isn't working out. We're done. And I was like, I had to write back. I'm like, I'm not mad or weird or anything. Again, dude, fucking typing is not my friend. Texting, all that bullshit. I am much better with my mouth than my thumbs, as I've said many, many times fucking before. So I just, anytime I text anybody or anytime it inevitably devolves into this fucking, I have to explain myself. And I just, but you know what's funny? I say that like it doesn't happen when I talk either. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, whenever I talk, I'm very clear and everybody understands me and nothing ever happens that's bad. It's only when I type. Bullshit. Maybe it's me. Look, you know what? Actually, God damn it, I've had a revelation. It's me. I gotta shut the fuck up, and I gotta stop texting people. I should just be a shut-in. I gotta find a cocoon. Freeze me in carbonite, folks. Han Solo the shit out of me. I can't fucking talk to anybody. You gotta lock me up. Throw away the key. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I start killing all the golfers, gonna lock me up and throw away the key. You fuzzy little foreigner. All right, so
Oh my
folks. So I sent Murray that apology, and and I had to send an apology to the other guy who I was writing the jokes for, but it was bounced off his Teflon, and he was just like, "No problem, we're good. It's just you can't ever write jokes for me again." All right, good. Uh, and then I slunk back into the ghetto of whatever I was doing at the other time. So I send Murray the apology, and then he writes me, and he's like, "Hey, I don't give a fuck about the food. I was just having fun." He goes, "I forget that not everybody's on board with me not hanging on to stuff and not letting it go for so long." And by the way, these are the contents of a confidential email Murray sent to me, so maybe I shouldn't go ahead and revealing that. I now that I think about it. But it was just a harmless discussion of back and forth. I'm sure he's going to be cool with it, right? But if not, I'll hear about it for the next 5 fucking years. And then I'll apologize to him for it, unreservedly. But I have to admit, I felt bad after he wrote that to me, because that's usually me. I'm that fucking guy. Lenny's ex-wife, she was not a fan. She did like me sometimes, but then a lot of the time she kind of found me to be too Mike. And she actually said one day she was so mad at me for something, and I was getting the silent treatment or whatever, and it was funny. It was really uncomfortable. I kept looking at Karen like, I don't know what to do here. I mean, I can't, I can't get out of it, because it's just I was me, and I didn't even think I did anything that offensive. I was teasing her, and I kept teasing her about something. It's the fucking 8-year-old in me, I'm sure, and it's the comic in me. We do it all the time. We bust balls, we needle, and I thought, well, she's married to a comic and we're close, and she's my sister-in-law, fine, and I had the needle out on her a little bit, and finally she just fucking clammed up and wanted nothing to do with me. And then I took her aside, and I gave her the Cleese apology, like really heartfelt, and then she just goes, "You're relentless." And I would be lying if I didn't say I took it as a compliment. Because part of me was like, yeah, I kind of am, and I think that's interesting and funny to be like that, and it's cost me over the years in friendships and friends and things, but there are also people who kind of like it and think it's funny, and they recognize that it's part of who I am. But I don't know. I have no idea. But that applies to the situation we were discussing at the top of the show. Last week, if you tuned in, first of all, if you didn't tune in to last week's show, skip it.
No.
No?
No, there's a lot of funny in that show.
Well, there is. All right, skip the first half hour.
No.
All right.
There's a lot of honesty in that show.
Are you coming at me again?
No, I don't think you should tell people not to listen.
I'm teasing. People will. Anybody who's listening now already listened to that. People listen in order. Look, I'm appointment viewing. All right, people fucking schedule me and listen to me. They just do it.
Okay.
I'm preaching to the choir here. Nobody new has come in this week and then went, "Hey, I better tune in the rest of this guy's stuff." Although maybe, because I met some people in Seattle who were new, and they were new listeners. I met a guy in Seattle, Sean, and he brought his girlfriend, and I don't know if she wants me to say her name. Jessie. I'm saying it anyway. And so I said, "Are you a listener?" She goes, "I'm a new listener." I said, "How new?" She goes, "Well, I heard this week's show." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, they're not all like that, where I wind up, where the two people involved wind up trying to kill one another for the first 30 minutes of the fucking show." But look, the bottom line is, I'll tell you this. I'm just going to say this. I did Jackie Cation's podcast this week. I did the Dork Forest. It won't be up for a couple of weeks, but I guested on that with her. And at the end of it, we stood up to go ahead and take off. And she told me a story about a guy named Steve that she knew. And I mentioned Steve a few weeks ago in the Podfest show. I had breakfast with Jackie Cation, Aisha Tyler, and Steve. Steve Mandel, I think was his name. I'm sure he doesn't want his full name on my show. But I'm confident in saying it because I know he's listening, and here's why. Because Jackie said to me after I did her podcast, she goes, "Hey," I wanted to tell you something. My friend Steve is listening to your show. I said, "Oh, he doesn't have to listen to my show." She goes, No. She goes, over 4 days of the Podfest, or 3 days of the Podfest, you are the only person who remembered his name. And that impressed him enough to where he said, "You know what, I think I'm going to give that guy a shot and listen to his show." And I said, "Well, that's very nice. Tell him not to start with this week's show." And she said, why? I said, I got into a fight with my producer. She goes, on the air? I said, yeah. I said, it was like the first half hour of the show. We were going at it over something. And she goes, and you put it up? And literally, this was exactly what I said. I go, yeah, I don't fucking care. And she made a face at me, and I go, seriously, I go, that's what my show is. My show's about what's happening. And that was what was happening. I said, the show starts where I wind up talking about something that's in the moment or something that happened outside. It's kind of my way to kick off the show. And I've always done that even on stage. I've tried to deal with something that's in the moment. And last week, what was in the moment was I was feeling fucking terrible about being disrespected. So I brought it up. And then, we were off to the goddamn races, which you heard. And my favorite part about, the show went up last week, and I knew, like, I wasn't sure how bad it was. I mean, I lived it, but I wasn't sure what it sounded like. And poor Lily at the end of the night, she called me, and she was just, fucking out of it, zombied, because it took so long for her to edit. Because I was here a long time last week, as you know. But then she had to edit it and put it up and get it up and so she put it up as quickly as she could. But when she called me back, she's just like, I'm going to bed. She's out of it. And then I said to her, I go, you know what? It actually dawns on me that I never apologized to you today. I certainly didn't on the air, and I don't even think I did when I left. She's like, you don't have to. It happens. It's fine. And part of me wondered if that would, if I had somehow apologized on the air, if that would have mediated the response from everybody. Because the show went up, and then I sat down and I had to do my, the thing for the email blast and my Facebook stuff. And within, I would say 45 minutes of the show being up, on the fan club page, a guy just wrote, "Mom and Dad are arguing." And it actually made me laugh out loud. I was just like, oh, well, I guess people in England are getting the show. And then that was it. Then it went, the floodgates were opened as everybody else would listen, and they would jump in and chime in with one another and talk. And then they all got together to write me notes. And you know what? I may read one. I'll read just one. Okay.
I can't wait to see which one.
I'm going to read a tame one. Just because it was cute to me, like when I saw it when it arrived. Because other people kind of couch their evil in like hey Mike, how's it going? You dumb fuck. You know what I mean? Oh, that sounds like it's gonna be a nice email. And I open it up, and it's like, you cocksucker, leave Lily alone, you jagoff. Thank you. So let me take a look here. Where is she? Hey, Laura. The header is in all caps. Be more grateful to Lily! With an exclamation point.
Wow.
And this is the entire email. I am about 10 minutes into the podcast, and I am ready to kick you out of Lily's apartment.
Oh, how cute.
Just saying. Didn't even sign it. Didn't even put Laura or, just an L. Didn't even give me an L. I didn't even get the courtesy of a fucking L.
That's so bizarre.
I am 10 minutes in the show, and I'm ready to kick you out of Lily's apartment. Done. Send. That's where she decided to end it. Send it. Get this out right now, damn it. 10 minutes in, I had to sit the keyboard and put thumb to fucking button and make sure you know you're a dick. And a lot of people did that. A lot of people would like post stuff, and then they would go, I thought this was going to go on the whole show. I'm listening to this, and it's a fucking train wreck. Like Dave Fogerson said that. And like other people were jumping in, and they're just like, wow, this is uncomfortable. And I kind of loved it, the fact that like they were live tweeting the argument that was happening. but it's okay. I understand that people have strong opinions. I have strong opinions about things. No, I kind of do. Sometimes I do. I have relentless opinions. But what makes me laugh is that it doesn't make me laugh. I mean, I guess, again, like I said, if you were a kid and you heard people you loved fighting, like when I was a kid, Larry Lujak and Tommy Edwards were a team on Animal Stories, the show Animal Stories. It was on WLS radio. Lujak was a disc jockey. Tommy Edwards followed him, and they do crosstalk, but then they did this thing called Animal Stories, where it was your Uncle Lair and sidekick little Tommy, and they would tell stories of monkeys fighting or whatever the fuck. They would find, it was like the precursor for Monkey News from fucking Gervais. Like they would do animal stories, and they'd read ridiculous animal stories. And they would make each other laugh, and they would be fun. But if I ever turned it on, and he was just like, here's a story about a rhino, little Tommy. Fuck you, Uncle Lair. I would have gone insane. I would have been like, why are they fighting? I like them, they're friends. I felt this way when Letterman and Leno didn't get along because they were so that was so important to me growing up was their relationship. I loved it so much. Both of them were huge influences on me. And then when all the shit happened with the Late Shift and fucking Leno was hiding in a closet and I found out he was that guy and then he and Letterman weren't getting along anymore and I was like, oh no, man, my heroes they gotta like one another. That would be great. And look, we're clearly not anybody's heroes. All right, I don't mean it like that.
I am.
But well, certainly, yeah.
For yourself.
That's a good point. My email would say otherwise.
I am the hero of this podcast.
Clearly, as I've said, there is no doubt if you were to decide to strike out on your own, you would take every fucking person with you.
5 minutes with Business Lily, they are all gonna bail.
That was the thing is that was because then it became a meme and everybody started because
that
Mex
was
started
so
it.
funny. That was so
Mex put up I'm done, and he put those up and then everybody kind of jumped in. And I put up I'm Dorn, which is from fucking Major League. But my favorite one was the guy who just put up Madeline Kahn and she said, I'm tired. And I was like, yep, that is clearly my favorite fan one. Absolutely. Besides the one that is of you
Yes.
and it says I'm done. Because that is a perfect caption for that look. Those are my two favorite fan ones. Because I mean, I can't. I don't even know if I was wrong or if I wasn't wrong last week. I have no idea. But
I'll answer that.
let's hear it.
No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
I'm not wrong. We disagreed. That doesn't make somebody right or somebody wrong. Nobody won that. No one lost that. We talked through something and we're still friends. We're both winners.
We are both winners.
You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of
Shut
sense.
up.
We are both winners. We need to. You know what we need to do now? A jumping high five in a freeze frame. That's what we need to do. We're both winners.
But that's what friends do. They talk through shit. And like I said, if anybody had heard the conversation before the mic opened, they may be thinking I'm the biggest dick here.
Well, I know one of us would be
You know what?
because I was privy to that conversation.
But there I think you might be a little wrong.
I'm not sure about that, quite frankly. But let's not open that can of worms again.
But again, it comes down to your feelings are valid, my feelings are valid. We got through it, we
Yes.
disagreed, and that's how people, that's why society doesn't blow
It's you and
everything
me,
up.
and we just disagree.
Oh my god.
What? Why? Why am I completely dismissed? 70 song lyrics can fix everything. So that happens sometimes, and sometimes there's back and forth and arguments, and and you hear it, and you wrote. But I mean, I thank you for all your feedback. But there were, I mean, but also let's deal with another thing real quick. It wasn't just I didn't get just hate mail over that. I got hate mail over the kayaks and canoes.
Oh yeah.
I actually had people cancel donations. Unsubscribe from the show because of that. And it again, you knew I was a fucking scorpion. Lily and I have talked about this many times, and I've even said it on the show. Everybody's got a line. Everybody thinks I'm fucking hysterical until I find their line, and then they are gone. And then I'm the biggest asshole who ever lived. And how do I have my privilege? And I get those emails all the time. And I'm just like, you've been here for 5 years. You've heard me burn everything to the fucking ground. And now, because it's the one thing that hits close to home for you, and you know what's funny is that. Because I even said after the canoes and kayaks, I go, I'm not even mad at handicapped people, folks. I go, this is a classic case of transference because, and then I went into you. Well, no, of course not. You know why? Because they were busy fucking laughing their asses off canoes and kayaks because it was goddamn hysterical. So much so that it's the id this week. Meg's already put it up.
That's pretty funny.
But then I got mail from people who are afflicted, or people who are in wheelchairs, and people who are on crutches or whatever, and people who limp. I got a lot of limpers writing me letters. I got a lot of limpers writing me letters.
Right, seriously.
That I was hateful toward handicapped people, and that I was so mean and so rude, and I didn't have any empathy, and it was just I mean, and then to take it out on you, it just showed how little of a person I was, because I was still I was like a baby, and I was ranting, and I just whatever. It was a big ball of hate that everybody consumed, and then they spit back out via cursor to me. But I will be honest with you, and I've said this because people, there's been this thing recently where everybody keeps saying, what is the one episode you would let somebody hear? If you wanted somebody to know what your podcast was, what is the one episode you would play for them? And this just came up recently with me, and I'm still kind of debating what to do. And it was weird enough that it was on the West Side 86 Jokers page, and on my page, people have asked, what is the one episode that you would start people with? And because I truly don't know, and if you have an opinion, write me or tell me or whatever the fuck, and that's fine. God knows I want more feedback. But because I have different opinions of what it would be, because everybody always says the 7-Eleven show, and everybody always says I just bought a house. But my favorite shows are just shows that go nowhere. I mean, I'd like that one about the storm drains in Vegas. If I was going to be the king of the spiders, and then I would rule the earth or whatever. Couldn't even tell you. But I remember when I finished doing it, I almost floated out of here. You know what I mean? It's like those shows are the best when you just fucking rampage and talk at the speed of your head and you don't even fucking think about it. Fucking Richie Rich. When I was going to have fucking Richie Rich outfit in every country in the world after I won the Powerball, and I was going to have my own fork made out of melted gold pirate doubloons, and I was going to eat everybody's food off their plate because I was rich and I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. God damn it! That's fucking hysterical. So like I want somebody to hear that nonsense. You know what I mean? Because that's just literally that's created out of thin air nonsense. That's more fun to me. Fucking Lester Hayes and a garden sprinkler. When I told the fucking story about I stumbled into the story about auditioning for the play. That shit is hysterical to me. But I don't want to say a majority of people. There are a ton of people who just like stories. Mex is like that. Mex would rather hear stories than hear craziness. He's nice about it when I talk to him about it. He's just like, oh, okay. But I know for sure that he would much rather I had a fucking cohesive story and banged it out. Certainly live. He thinks live I should just do stories. And he's right. He's not wrong for Okies. But if it's a live version of this podcast, then folks, I'm sorry. I owe you a certain amount of nonsense. So if you come see me live, as I've said many times, and I've even said it on stage, I think for every performance I've ever had, I don't like to just launch into a story because then I look like an idiot. If all of a sudden the spotlight hits me and I'm like, forsooth, and I've got a skull in my hand and it's fucking ridiculous. So that's the thing. I don't know. So I don't know what to tell people to listen to. I don't know. How did I get into this? What was I talking about? How did I spiral off?
The podcast that you would recommend people.
Yeah. Because this is the thing. I've slagged everybody. I mean, everybody gets buried. I did a whole fucking show about Nigger Jim in Huckleberry Finn. Not a whole show, but I mean, it certainly seemed like a whole show. So I fear nothing. Certainly not language-wise, and certainly not subject matter-wise. And I'm equal opportunity. I'm gonna fucking destroy everyone. And there is no one who gets the brunt of it more than me, quite frankly. If you were to listen to all the shows, the clear welcome mat in this show is me, and you all wipe your feet on me and step into my head. That's fine, because I'm the guy who gets beat up because I'm an idiot, and I know that, and I recognize it, and I fucking own it. But at the same time, this isn't a suicide. I'm taking everybody out with me. Okay? I mean, you're not just going to hear me shoot myself in the head and that's it, because guess what? Inevitably, every single one of you has to take a fucking bullet before I check out. And so I am packing heat and ready to fucking unload. You know that. So yeah, I don't. So when I did that handicap thing last week, because again, I just that wasn't obviously none of this is planned. Certainly none of today's is planned, as you can probably tell. I just started and saw where it went. Dude, a couple of weeks ago, I had Google being run by pancakes. Again, on the spot, made it up. I did not plan on that, and then it segued into borscht. And then all of a sudden I had Kobayashi and fucking Joey Chestnut eating them in a bowl, fighting in a bowl. Guys eating 50 pounds of dumplings and wrestling in a bowl. Come on, goddammit. This is all made up on the fly. So I don't even really think twice about what I say, as you can probably tell. There's no filter. I talk at the speed of my head. Whatever the fuck comes out, comes out. And I don't suffer anybody, man. Everybody gets fucking blasted. Taken out right at the goddamn knees. So, well, last week, made no sense to take them out at the knees. They can't use them, right? All I'm saying, if you're going to shoot a paraplegic, aim high.
Oh
Because you're not doing any damage otherwise. So my point is, when I was saying all that shit last week, I didn't even think of it like this is potentially offensive. I just thought it was me talking, as I do every single week. And so I always thought, here's the thing, I don't do these shows ever thinking that there's an entirely new audience listening. This is going to sound ridiculous. I almost like, I'm like Michael Caine in the Cider House Rules. And every night I come into your cabin and I give you that Kings of Men speech and then I leave. That's who I am. And you're always the same people are in the cabin with me, right? I could have botched that analogy completely because I don't remember who it was, what the actor was, the movie. But you know what I mean? I look at this. This is, we're all at Camp Schmidt and I'm the head counselor. And every night we sit around the fire and I tell you a fucking story and then we all repair to our cabins and come back the next fucking week. That's it. That's the way it works. Are you ready for the summer? Are you ready for the good times? It just doesn't matter. So that's my point. We're all here. We're all in our bunks and we're all waiting for the story time. And when story time comes, I come out and I see all of you because, again, we're all the same. So I never think that I have new people coming to camp. This camp is a closed camp, folks. It's open to the public, but I can tell you what, the public just keeps on walking. This is Camp Crystal Lake, audio version. People see the sign and just whistle and move on. That's what I would do if I wanted to have like a camp that was exclusive. I would name it Camp Crystal Lake and just get like the coolest people to come. And then other like idiots would be like, I can't go there because Jason's there. And I'd be like, exactly, Jason's here. Don't come in. And then we would totally make s'mores the whole time. Oh my God. With no marshmallows though. I don't like s'mores. I don't like, well, yeah, all right, here's the thing. I don't like the idea of s'mores. I don't like, fuck, just give me chocolate. I don't need to melt it over a goddamn open flame. Everybody's got golden graham, like graham, no, not golden grahams. That'd be tiny s'more. Then you got to thrust your hand into the fire. You can't, wait a second. I made s'mores like a couple times in my life, and I fucking hate it because I hate marshmallow, as you know. I can't stand it. Marshmallow to me is just like solid mayonnaise. Don't like it. Every time I see marshmallow, I think it's going to taste like mayonnaise. And plus, I remember the texture from when I was a kid. Like, we would get marshmallows as a snack as a kid. Like, my mom would be like, yeah, everybody had this bag of marshmallows. And I'd be like, well, how poor are we that I could eat pillow stuffing, but fine. And then I'd put it in my mouth, and it was so fucking gross. Dude, it was terrible. It's like chewing on a calf's ear. So nasty. You love marshmallows?
I will eat marshmallow topping out of a jar.
Fluff?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I hated fluffernutters. When I was a kid, like, I would be so furious. No? Oh, just a fluff.
I would just eat the fluff right out of the
I see. Yeah, my mom was like, oh, man, fluffernutters. And then, like, I'd be like, where's the jelly? She'd be like, no, it's peanut butter and marshmallow. And I'd be like, fuck that. in my head, because I didn't want to get punched in the face by my mom. Again, tooth chipper. But I would excuse myself from the table because I don't eat marshmallow fluff. I can't stand it. I hate the taste. I hate the texture. That's the thing. I like. There's got to be a little snap in my food. It's got to be, that's why I only eat Slim Jims. It's the only thing I eat, folks. And in my head, I always hear that fucking lasso noise. I hated that they put that in that commercial. When you eat the Slim Jim and it goes like make that snapping noise. Because now, anytime I hear "Let the Music Play," I think Shannon is eating a Slim Jim. All right. I heard that song the other day. I'm not going to lie to you. I heard that song in the car. That's why it's fresh in my mind. That song is the weirdest song you'll ever hear in your life. Because it is essentially, it's a woman who starts dancing with a guy, and then he dances away to dance with somebody else, and she keeps telling herself, no, that guy fucking loves me. He's coming back. I know he's fucking coming back. There's no way he's going to go dance with anybody else because that fucking guy loves me. I could tell just from the way he was dancing with me. And then, inevitably, like halfway through the song, he dances back to her, and she goes, he's dancing his way back to me. Like she's almost hypnotizing him into coming. And even worse, she sounds crazy. Like if you listen to it from that angle, she sounds like a mental patient who's like, oh no, that guy loves me. He loves me. He totally loves me. And then even the chorus is like mean, where it's just like, let the music play. He won't get away. Just keep the groove and then he'll come back to you again. And I know she's repeating that over and over in her crazy head where she's like, let the music play. He won't get away. Just fucking, yeah, just get lighter. She's like burning her hand. She's fucking, just keep the groove. That's right. Just keep the groove and then he'll come back to you again. Like she's thinking if she dances well, he'll come back and marry her. Is that what it is? It's so stupid. It makes no sense. But again, when you hear it, you're just like, dung, 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 you're dancing. But then if you listen to the words, you're like, holy fuck, that's awful. It's terrible. She's a mental patient who escaped and winds up at a nightclub, and she's going to take that guy and kill him. Oh, no, he loves me. That guy totally loves me. Really, he does. I swear to God. We were just dancing together. Ah. Don't dance with strangers, folks. It might be Shannon. And she's going to fucking snap right into your goddamn Slim Jim in front of everybody. Songs are fucking ridiculous. I was listening to I heard a song in the car. There's a song called Not Since You've Been Gone. What's the other one? All Night Long by Rainbow with Graham Bonnet. And it's because Graham Bonnet is fucking amazing. Pardo and I used to talk about him all the time. He was just this dude who he looked like a car salesman. Like, it was so ridiculous. And he dressed like one too. That was the thing. He'd have white suits on and stuff. But I loved his rock voice. Like, he sang with Rainbow, and then he sang with Alcatraz. He sang with all these different people. He's in fucking Alcatraz. The album with Alcatraz with Steve Vai and Graham Bonnet. You have to get it. Disturbing the Peace. Fucking great. So good. There's a song called Will You Be Home Tonight? And it's so good. Whatever. But we're here to talk about silly Graham Bonnet. There's a song called, that's what we're here for, folks. Every Thursday at Camp Schmidt, we gather around the fucking campfire and we talk about silly Graham Bonnet. And you know what's funny? His name, if you broke it up, you could say we could talk about silly Grahams and then silly Bonnets. But instead, we put them together, we talk about silly Graham Bonnet, folks. Next week, we talk about silly Grahams and how I don't like s'mores with them. Oh my God, marshmallow's awful. I went on a hayride one time, fucking hayride, and they're like, dude, we'll totally have s'mores afterward. And it was the only reason, in my head, I'm like, and I'm not joking, Karen and I went on this hayride, and in my head the whole time, I'm just going, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, because it's hay. You're in a fucking truck with hay. Get me a car. Brush me off. I'm not a goddamn horse's mouth. There shouldn't be any hay on me, goddammit. But that's exactly what I was. I was like a horse's tongue, because it was just, there was nothing but hay stuck all over me. But in my head, I kept going, at the end of this, you get chocolate. So fucking do it, fatty. So because I went with Bert Borth and Catherine. There's all the people from the Funny Bone. My friend Mike Gibson and all these people. And I don't know if any other comics came. Actually, I think Bob Zaney came, and then he talked for 45 minutes and scared everybody away. Bob Zaney, fuck. Did I ever tell that story on here? Look, Bob Zaney, he's a... I can't say he's a nice man. I don't know what the fuck he is. He's all right, I suppose. I don't know Bob anymore. He all right. That guy okay. I told the story when he ran away from me. Right? I've told that story where he physically ran from me, like sprinted away from me out the door. So he's fucking kind of bananas. So a few years ago, do you not like the qualifier? You think kind of bananas is rough?
I was just thinking, Mr. Pop, Mr. Kettle.
Oh yeah, I'm the hey. You want a piece? Hay all over me. It was terrible. The hayride was disgusting. Let's finish that real quick. I'm on the hayride, and I was like, I can't wait to get chocolate afterwards. And afterwards, they go, hey, dude, s'mores. And they started to make s'mores and hand them out to everybody. I'm like, no, let me control the chocolate part of this thing. You can fucking barbecue marshmallows on a giant stick all the fuck you want, but just give me Hershey bars. I don't give a fuck about the rest of this. No, you take the Hershey miniature, and you take a marshmallow, and you put them between... No, I don't. You do. I eat Hershey bars. That's all I fucking do. Fuck your campfire fun. Hershey bars are already made. You know what I got to do? I open them. That's it. Done. There's my treat. I don't have to hold them over or open a goddamn flame. All right. You're sad for me? I don't care. Or are you sad for them?
I'm sad because I don't have anything in the house to make s'mores right now, and it sounds so good.
Well, let's go on a hayride. I'm sure at the end of it we'll get them. It's just the stupidest idea. Hey, would you like to lay in this uncomfortable sack of stuff? And not even sack, it was loose. Hey, it was all over me. And then for weeks you're pulling it out of your ass. That seems like a weird hayride.
Why were you naked?
Oh, did I mention that? I didn't say. Again, that's why it was so uncomfortable for everybody else. I buried myself in the hay, and I took my clothes off underneath the hay. And everybody's like, what's going on? I get to throw my shirt out the basket. Woohoo, let's have fun. They said it was haunted. All right, so... anyway, I told Bob Zaney. Oh, fuck. I must have told this story. He worked the Funny Bone when I was there. I didn't tell that story. I was the house MC at the Funny Bone in Naperville, Illinois. And one weekend, Bob Zaney showed up. And this was my first interaction with him since he had physically run away from me like 6 years prior in California. And I didn't mention it to him because that seemed like it would be an awkward way to start out our conversation. So, So he I shouldn't even tell this fucking story. Bob's Bob. I don't know Bob, so people love him and that's great. But my dealings with him have always been fucking tightrope weird. He worked with us at the Funny Bone, and afterwards he had these things called the Bob Zaney Fun Pack or whatever, and it was like a cigar and a postcard and just bullshit. So Karen came to the last show. And she really enjoyed his act because he's very funny. His act is devastatingly funny on stage. I mean, he's a real powerhouse, and he's just in the moment. He does a good job. I'm not casting aspersions on him as a comic. However, from the second "good night" is said, from the second he utters the word "good night," then we cross into a gray area. So he was selling the merch in the back of the room, and it wasn't going well. Just that particular, he sold well really at the early shows, but the late show, people were just saying hi and walking off. So Karen walked up and was like looking at the merch and he engaged her in a conversation, and then he was like, "You want one of those?" And she said, "Yeah." And he charged her for it, and she paid for it. So she comes up to me afterwards holding that, and I go, "Oh, I go to Bob, give you one of those?" And she goes, "No, I bought one." I said, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, he sold me one." I go, "He knows you're my wife, right?" And she goes, "Yeah." I go, "Then why the fuck are you buying or paying for any merch? That's ridiculous. And plus, he should be just giving it to you because I emceed all week, and it just seems dumb. Why would he charge you?" And again, folks, I understand I'm on a different plane from most people because I mean, you guys are out there and you're nice, and I'll sometimes I'll give you, if I give you something, I give you something. You know what I mean? It's like because that's the way it should be. It's all calling cards. It just seemed like a fucking over the top greedy move for him to make Karen pay for something. So we were all going to get together and go to Fridays because Fridays was in the same complex as the Funny Bone. I swear to God, I told this story. All of us get together, and Bob's like, "Hey, where are we going, baby?" And it was kind of like, even the people that are working there were kind of like, well, it was uncomfortable, but then we're going to Fridays, Bob. "All right, baby, see you over there, baby." Grabs a cigar and leaves. And so we all go over there, and then he joins us at the table. And, we're all kind of a weird family because we all work there every week. And so it's the comic who comes and hangs out, it's odd for him because he doesn't know the staff. He doesn't know the people. And so it's strange. It's strange to come into that sort of atmosphere. I would do it every week. I would wind up at somebody's house playing poker with all of the people from the fucking comedy club. And they didn't know who the fuck I was. I was just the guy that was there that week. And they were accommodating and they were friendly and they were nice. But if it came down to it, if I was an asshole, I'm sure they would have all turned on me or hated me or told me to get the fuck out. But I was able to behave myself in a lot of those instances. We go over to Fridays and Bob is there. And we're all trying to figure out what we're going to order. And we do it all the time. They know us. It's like when you go to House of Pines after the teas. So we walk in and they know us. And the waitress comes over and starts talking to Bob, and Bob completely runs shtick on the waitress, making fun of her, making fun of the flair, the Fridays buttons, making fun of the food, making her tell him what's in this, baby. He's being a pill, and he's doing it because he thinks he's entertaining us. Like we're out with the headliner and he's so crazy and great, and we're all like, supposed to be leaning on our hands and going, he's so funny. But in reality, I'm fucking funny, and the people who work there see comedy every fucking week, and comedy ended at good night. All right, now be Bob. Don't be fucking zany. Separate the two. But he's running this fucking shtick on this girl, and she's looking at us, and we're kind of like mortified, hiding our faces. We order our stuff. Bob gets, he orders food, and I think he got a couple of drinks, if I remember correctly. I don't know if he was drinking or not. Whatever. But he ordered food. And we all ordered. And then the bill came. And, there's 8 people, and it was a big bill, and I think he put in $10. And his food was like 13. So he didn't even cover the tip or whatever. He put a 10 on the table. He was like, "All right, baby, good to see you." And fucking, that was it. And we all looked at one another, and honestly, not a one of us was surprised because we could just see it coming because he was just so awkward, and then it's funny, we'd all be talking about stuff and then he'd go, "I tell you what, baby, when I was in Cincinnati." Well, what the fuck? Hey, Milton Berle, dial it back. Again, you punched out. We're done. We don't have to pretend that you're the great headliner. We're all having a fucking basket of eggs. I don't know why we went to Easter Fridays. I have no idea. But it was just fucking awkward because that's all my dealings with him. You know what I mean? And again, I've heard amazing things. I know he's a great man and a great friend and he helps people out, but I have not seen that side. I've just seen, baby, yeah. And so that's that. So why did that even come up? Why did we talk about Bob? Because I was saying on the hayride that what if he came? Yes. Yeah. I wish he would have come to the hayride because then I wouldn't have gone. Baby. Oh my God. How do we get into Zane? How do we get into that? I don't even know. But that's what happens here at the campfire, folks. Sometimes we get to talking about Bob Zaney and we get distracted and we forget about what we were talking about. Graham Bonnet. Ha! There it was. There's a song there's a song called All Night Long. Okay, and in the song, he's the cool lead singer of a band. All right, and so he's basically the object of every woman's desire in the room, and he's going to get laid. And again, I'm talking about a guy in a vanilla ice cream suit, like white. He looks like the Music Man. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But he's the cool lead singer guy. So the song starts out, And he's like, you're walking up with your eyes on me. It's looking good, but I just don't know. I need a girl who can keep her head all night long. So he's setting the ground rules. All right. He's in charge of the situation. And he's also referenced the title of the song within the first 5 seconds. So good for him. I need a girl who can keep her head all night long. And then he's like, you didn't come just to see the show. I guess you know what you want to see. The way you smile lets me know I can't go wrong. So it's a sure thing. He's going to nail that chick. And he's full of confidence, right? Because he knows he's the lead singer. He can see it. And in the video, it's this crazy hot chick with a see-through white dress and just hard nipples. And you're just like, I wish I was Graham Bonnet. Honestly, ice cream suit and everything. I don't give a fuck if he's got a pocket full of strawberry eclairs from Good Humor. I want to be Graham Bonnet because he is going to be balls deep in that fucking blonde with the nipples. That's what I'm thinking at 11 years of age. 13. And then he's like, I want to touch you. I want to feel you. I want to make you mine, which is all just bullshit you say to a girl to get her in bed when you're a lead singer. Right? Right. He hasn't given over the power just yet. He's still in charge of the entire thing. Now, he's not a mental patient like Shannon. Shannon's fucking crazy. But Bonnet is a cool lead singer who's about to get laid. So it's like, all right, great. And then it goes into, the chorus of I want to love you all night long. I want to be with you all night long. I want to love you, whatever. That's fine. And that's sweet nothings to get her to drop her dress and fucking you can work her and then get in the tour bus and leave. So then the next chorus is like, I saw you standing down by the stage, your black stockings and your see-through dress. Now, see, he knows. He knows what you came for. Because he says, your mouth is open, but I don't want to hear you say goodnight. Now, he's kind of giving himself over a little bit. He lost some cool points there. All right. Your mouth is open, but I don't want to hear you say goodnight. I mean, I guess that's kind of a smooth way to say things. But if you're a lead singer, you need to realize she has no interest in saying goodnight to you. Her mouth is opening for a completely different reason, and it's to get a bonnet cock in it. That's the only reason she's opening her mouth at the fucking foot of the stage. And then he's like, you're sort of young, but you're overage. I don't care because I like your style. I don't know about your brain, but you look all right. Now he's taking the power back with that line. Don't know about your brain, but you look all right. He just he negged her. He totally negged that chick. Graham Bonnet is the original pickup artist, goddammit. Fuck you, Mystical or Maestro, whatever the fuck your name is. Graham Bonnet taught everybody everything they needed to know. He put on a white ice cream suit. He had a pocket full of bomb pops. That's right, my son's with him. And he's reaching out to the chick. And then it goes back into the chorus. I want to touch you. I want to be with you all night long. I want to love you. That's fine. I want to feel you. I want to make you mine. Fine, fine, fine. So he still has the power, right? Would you say so as a lady? Yeah, he still has the power. You don't care at this point, but I don't care.
No, at that point he still does.
So I'll listen to the song in the car.
Vulnerability,
But he doesn't need to have vulnerability. He's fucking Graham Bonnet. He's bulletproof. He's on stage. He's got Richie Blackmore on his left. If Richie Blackmore's your wingman, you're getting fucking laid. Although, hold on. If Rainbow Richie Blackmore is your wingman, you're getting laid. If Blackmore's night wingman Richie Blackmore, that's not good. Maybe you'll fuck Gollum. That's about the only thing that you'll fuck. Because Blackmore's Night is a whole bunch of medieval bullshit. It's terrible. It's so awful. It's like Richie Blackmore playing guitar, and then there's 37 guys with flutes. It's like, what are you doing, Richie? You're a rock hero. You're a rock god. Quit dabbling in the fucking mystical. No one cares. Quit dabbling in that pickup artist. So he totally negged her with that line. He's like, don't know about your brain, but you look all right. Because he didn't even say she looked good. He said she looked all right. And earlier he had said, your mouth is open, but I don't want to hear you say goodnight. Well, why would you want her to say goodnight? She's just okay. And then he fucking grabs the power back. But then, the end of the song, he says, your mind is dirty, but your hands are clean, which makes no fucking sense. He hasn't even talked to her. How does he know that her mind is dirty? You show no class, but your legs are long. So he negs her again. But what does her legs are long have to do with her having no class? You show no class, but your legs long. So he says, you show no class, but your legs are long. And I think the legs thing triggered something in him where he realizes, hey, I might have overplayed my hand. I might have gone too far with this girl. Maybe she turned to leave. Maybe she took her black stockings and her see-through dress and she's heading out the door. Maybe she did open her mouth and maybe it was to say goodnight because he just said, you show no class, but your legs are long. Now that's a double neg and you should not do that. Because the very next line is, I know I can't stand another night on my own. Cards on the table. Bonnet is no longer a smooth lead singer. Now he's a guy who just hasn't been laid in a while and he wants to fuck this girl in the front row because he thinks he's got Graham Bonnet cachet. And he did until he fucking completely went the other way and threw out, I can't stand another night on my own. That seems weird, right? Although I guess that's revealing some vulnerability and maybe getting the woman on your side. But then you have to hear the way he says it in the song because I'm not going to be able to do it justice. But he just goes, he throws this full court press on her, and it's the last like little chunk of the song because he's like, you know, I know I can't stand another night on my own, and then he ramps it up where the like the key even goes up, and he starts screaming, and he's like, hey girl, would you like some wine? All right, look, I'm not going to sing the rest because it doesn't make any sense. Because and that wasn't singing, that was yelling. But Graham Bonnet is singing, yelling. But it's like, again, he reveals in fact that he's this lonely guy because he goes, he says, I know I can't stand another night on my own. And then he's like, hey girl, would you like some wine? What's your name? Are you by yourself? Are you the one? What's your sign? Can I take you home? Like and it all rushes out of his mouth at once where you're just like, dude, you're totally not getting laid now. I don't give a fuck who's with you. I think literally the reading of that line, are you the one? What's your sign? Can I take you home? I think Richie Blackmore went, I got to fire this fucking guy. I'm not going to get any orc pussy with the desperation of Graham Bonnet all over me. I'm not going to be able to jam my cock into the mouth of Sauron if the fucking stink of desperation from Graham Bonnet is leaking all over this band. I got to get rid of this motherfucker. And he immediately called Joe Lynn Turner, and then they wrote Death Alley Driver. Rock and roll survivor in a supersonic sound machine. Fucking yeah, Joe Lynn Turner. All right, there you go. God damn it. I think I just did 9 minutes on Rainbow from the 70s. What the fuck? Of course, I did 4 minutes on s'mores earlier. Let's break it down, folks. What did I do? Let's get the campfire. Who's keeping the minutes? Who's keeping the minutes here at the campfire? So I guess if I'm going to tie this all up, what I'm going to say to you folks is, Lily and I are friends. You don't have to write emails defending her honor to me. I love Lily. She knows that. And she tolerates me. I know that. And that's the relationship we have, and that's fine. Although I can tell you this, it's very clear that I'm now going to have to write the John Cleese apology to Graham Bonnet. What if I did? What if I did and posted on my website an open letter to Graham Bonnet, an open apology to Graham Bonnet? But you know what I would do? I would write the most fucking heartfelt apology, and at the end I go, "Are you the one? What's your sign? Can I take you home?" Although, do I really need Graham Bonnet to be apologized to? I think I owe Shannon an apology, certainly. I just said she was a fucking mental patient who escaped and tried to, All right. Let the music play. He won't get away. You know, if Sarah McLachlan sings that song, completely different meaning. Seriously, if she sings it one of those funeral dirges that she puts out, she's just got like that fucking calliope tinkling behind her. Oh, let the music play. He won't get away. Just keep the groove and then he'll come back to you again. No, no, no. All right. It was almost one of my first jobs when I came to town. Did I ever tell that story? I got called for an audition, and it was some bullshit audition where it was for a director's reel, but it was $500, which I was cool with. I was happy. I needed any money. But this is fat me, crazy 500-pound me, and a director wanted blue collar, interesting faces to sing a portion of a Sarah McLachlan song. I'm trying to remember what the song was, but I know that it was. I still know it was because it was a song. It can be interpreted as a rape song, I think, and that was what his message was. Is he wanted to have like burly guys singing it to make it look like to interpret it literally. Because again, when she sings it, it's different. But the lyrics were like, "And I would be the one to hold you down, kiss you so hard, I'll take your breath away, and after I wipe away the tears, close your eyes, my dear." I think I'll look it up. I got to find the lyrics because it was supposed to be scary, so I had to sing it. And because I thought we were lip syncing it, but instead he wanted us to actually sing it. And I remember practicing in the car, and I just made a mean, I did what I do. I look intimidating, and again, when I was fat, my eyes were set even deeper in my head. So, I want to talk about that. Remind me to say something about my face. Seriously. And I kind of put this like mean, like the bouncer face that I used to do. And I remember like I did it through gritted teeth even. And I acted, which I never did. You know what I mean? I was always me all the time and everything. Even as Big Tony and all that bullshit. I mean, what am I doing? Rolling my eyes and hitting myself on the chest and eating sausage? I mean, I'm not an actor. But that time I got to do that. There's been a couple of times that I've actually been able to act and actually call on something that I think I might have. And that was one of them. And that's Sarah McLachlan thing, because I got to say the words and look in the camera lens, and I actually worked tears up. like, because I, and all right, there's probably 3 times I've actually been able to act. One time, there was a guy, Carrie Seidel. I got referred to him to teach scene study. And he told me, he's like, all right, when I went to the first scene, and it was one-on-one, it wasn't a big class. So I went to him, and he's like, well, I want you to write a monologue about something that means something to you, and then come and you can do it for me. And so I came back to the next class with him, and of course I wrote about my dad, and I started to do the monologue, and I could barely get through it. I fought it. I did it, but it was gritted teeth and tears the whole time, and I made it through. And afterwards, it was a really great compliment, because afterwards he stopped and he's like, relax. He put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, just breathe. And I did. And then he looked at me and he goes, I'm impressed. He goes, because you've got that in you. He goes, not everybody has that in them. And he goes, and you have it in you. And in my head, I'm like, I'm here to learn a sitcom comedy side reading class. I don't know why I'm bringing monologues about my father dying to it, but it was what was important to me, and that's what I wanted to do. And so but I remember a teacher even saying to me, he was like, yeah, good. You've got that in you. So that's good. We know what we're working with. We can do something with that. And I was like, great. So I only have to feel horrible every time I do a fucking monologue. Is that what you're saying? But with this Sarah McLachlan thing, the same thing. Like, I looked into the camera, and he had me do it 3 different times, which is when you kind of know it's going well. When the director's like, all right, do this. And then you do it. And he's like, no, that was really fantastic, but try this now. Like, they give you things and you just adapt. That's fun. That's actually learning, because I go to so many auditions where it's just like, turn to the left, turn to the right. All right, now puff your cheeks up like a fat guy. You know what I mean? And then leave. It's all that. I'm selling spaghetti to people, and like, nobody fucking cares. You're not acting, and that's fine. And I'm not an actor anyway. But the times when you do get to act, it feels amazing. When I did it also? I did a show called Movies at Our House with Jimmy Pardo. Jimmy got me on the show. Jimmy was a host of it. He and Rachel Quaintance. And the premise was that Jimmy and Rachel would have movies at their house, and they would watch a film, and they would invite 2 of their friends over. And the friends, it was Jimmy Pardo and Rachel Quaintance as a married couple, but then they would have their friends over, and like Gil Martin was on, and he was somebody, and they really tapped into Jimmy's wellspring of friends. So I actually did it twice. I did it once with I'm trying to remember who's the first episode I do with Graham, maybe, and then the second time I did it with Greg Barrett. And on that one, I think we watched Short Circuit, and I was a government weapons expert. But I had left the government or whatever. So then there was this scene where they left the room and I started talking by myself, and I had to talk to the movie or to the camera in about 5, Johnny 5 or whatever the fuck. And they were just go with it. Do whatever you want. Make it whatever you want it to be. And so I made it scary. I made it as mean and scary as I possibly could. And just fucking this, I just rampaged about, black helicopters and everything else, and how I was being held down and my family, and I again worked myself up into fucking a frenzy, into tears, and I was in the whole thing. And then at the end of it, I was just sitting there staring, and they're like, cut. And everybody comes in and they're looking at me like, where the fuck did that come from? Because again, I was Jimmy's goofy friend. It's like, well, no, that was the whole thing. That's my guy. He's a crazy person who's wild. And they're just like, cool. And honestly, I don't even think I ever saw it. I don't know if it made the cut. I don't know if they used it or any of it, but I mean, I remember when I did it, it was fucking totally fun. So yeah, so how did I get into that? Why did I fucking, because I was talking about Graham Bonnet, and then I moved into Sarah McLachlan. That's why. This is where we ping pong, folks. This is how it works. So that was one of the first gigs I almost got, and the director loved me. I got put on avails for it, and the director himself, he personally called me to tell me that I didn't have it, and he was sorry because he wanted me. But he thought I did a great job, which was great. That was pretty neat. But didn't get it. And then I got called in to audition for a Mexican commercial where I picked, food out of my toes, which is like awful. I told that story in here where I refused and I walked out. All right, so I read that script. It was so disheartening. All right, so that's when I almost got the job being muscle for massage parlor people. Did I tell that story on here? Yeah, see, all right. That was another one where I went to lunch and I'm talking to Jimmy about it. He's like, well, you're not going to do that. You're not a stooge. All right, so by year 1 and 2 and 3, and 4 and 5. I think I covered all of these in every one of those years, folks. Those stories have evolved over the years to where they're not. And now here, look at me. I'm giving truncated versions of them. If you want to hear the longer versions, oh my God, by 1 through 5. So I was in Seattle over the weekend, I did a show in Seattle at the Jewel Box at the Rendezvous Theater. And I want to do more live stuff. We're talking and we're trying to make some plans for 2014. But I really, really want to go back out and do more live stuff because Austin was so great. And then I gave you guys the audio for that. You're able to hear that. So you kind of get an idea of what happens live. But it's different because I have set stories that I'm going to tell. I did them in LA at the Podfest, and then I did them in Seattle. I'll tell you this. I went to Seattle, and this was my first. That was a weird thing for me because it was my first time flying in day of show. What I have been doing is I usually come to town 2 days before, and then I wreak havoc all over the city, and then I tell you about it afterwards. But my current circumstance precludes me from buying 9 hotel rooms. So I said I'll fly in the day of. Like I'll stay here Friday, and I actually worked Friday night, and I said I'll fly Saturday morning and then fly home Sunday morning. So Saturday morning I get up and I woke up with plenty of time, and this is the same thing like I said in Austin, where I had plenty of time, but all of a sudden it turned out I was lollygagging and I forgot that I go to the parking garage, and I wound up leaving my house for an early flight. It was an 8:10 flight to Seattle. So I left my house. I wanted to leave at I figured if I got to the airport by like 7:15 I'd be fine. Well, I didn't leave my house till like 5 to 7 because I thought, well, Saturday it's okay. I'll blaze through. It only takes like 15 minutes, but I forgot I had to park at the parking garage. I forgot I had all this other shit that I had to do. So I pull in. I had the Murano up to 90 on the freeway. And then I pull into the same parking garage that I went to last time with Mr. Maxwell, and he was very nice, but he wasn't there this time. So I pulled in, and I was late. By the time I got to the airport, it was now 7:25, and my flight was at 8:10, and I still had to take a shuttle to the airport from the parking garage. And I'm Mr. 2 hours early. I'm that guy. But here's what it was. I'll be honest with you. In my head, because folks, I know I'm better than all of you. I do. You know that, right? Because I'm an American Airlines Gold Flyer. So that usually means that I can just sashay into the airport and these muscle men lift me to the plane. I don't have to deal with any of the bullshit that you guys have to go through, as I've talked about here many times. Well, the night before I was going to go, I went to check in my flight, and it said, you must check in through Alaska Airlines, who handles this flight for American. So the way that works is American is affiliated with Alaska Airlines, so I get the miles for the trip, but I don't get my gold perks. I don't get to board early. I don't get to check in. I don't get the free bag. I don't get any of that. If I go on Alaska, I got to pay. So I'm you people. So I forget all about that. And I also forget that Alaska Airlines doesn't assign your seat right away. Like when you buy it, you can't pick your seat, and then they just assign it. So I go to check in, and thank God I'm in a window seat, but it's on the other side of the plane. But that's okay. At least they didn't put me in a fucking middle seat. So I'm in 9A. So I check in that morning, I get in the car, I fly to the airport, and I go into the parking garage, and I'm fucking zooming, folks. And I'm so pissed. And you ever do that thing when you're behind somebody in their car and you sing at them? You're the worst driver in the fucking history of the world. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like I'm just singing and just get the fuck out of my way. And I'm hopscotching lanes. And there's nothing worse than like a guy who goes from the third lane into the middle lane and then just still goes 60. And you're like, you should die. Stay in the third fucking lane. So I'm flying. I get there. And then I get to the parking garage and there's like 4 people in front of me. Waiting to turn in, and they're slow, and they're all gabbing. They're talking. You know why? Because they're 2 hours early for their fucking flight. So to them, it's a fucking vacation. They're like, la-di-da, this is fun. Fuck you, this isn't fun. Get the fuck out of my way. I got to park. I'm late. Because again, I don't have the buffer of a day. If I miss this flight to Seattle, I got to hope I got another fucking flight to Seattle on Alaska Airlines. I think it was 1, and it was like 5 o'clock. So it would have got me there at 7. The show's supposed to start at fucking 7. That's not working. That's not going to fucking happen. So get me in this garage and get the fuck out of my way. So people pull in. I grab my ticket. I go in, and I floor it. And this is a parking garage where you're just going turning, up. And I know I'm going to the roof. I'm not even going to fucking play the game of prowling around and looking for spots or waiting for somebody to fucking back out. I'm just going to find a goddamn spot at the roof because there's plenty of spots in the roof because nobody wants to park their car in the fucking sun. So I'm going. But again, these people are ahead of me. So they're all going super fucking slow because again, they're lollygagging because they're going to the Bahamas and going to have a good fucking time. And they're talking about it in the car. Is it going to be exciting when we fly to the Bahamas? Fuck you, park. I'm going to fucking Seattle to make people laugh, ostensibly. Regardless of what I'm going for, I'm going to Seattle. I need to get there now. So these fucking people are just... and so I pass people. I pass people on the left in the parking garage. I pass them. Zoom. And I go around them and I go up a level, zoom, past another guy. And because they're all like, just fucking driving like old people. It's awful. And so I get to the roof and I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to find a spot. And I go zooming around and I zoom over and I come around the corner and I'm going like 25 miles an hour in the parking garage. All right, so that's fast, especially when you're taking corners. And it's even more fast when you turn the corner and there's a family of 3 with their roller bags right in front of you. I won't lie. For just a second, I froze. And I would have killed them all. Like, I would have bowling pinned the fuck out of all of them. They would have gone flying. But had that split second of, what the fuck? But kept going. And then they froze too. They just stood there like, all right, we're dead. But I caught wind of what was happening in my brain all of a sudden. And my brain made my hands turn the wheel. Now, if I would have turned to the right, I would have smashed right into a banister and a guardrail. Somehow, in that split second, I knew to swerve. I swerved. And that's what happens when you're riding a squirrel and you're about to run into something. I swerved to the left. So there were 3 of them. There was like Mama Bear and Baby Bear, and then there was Papa Bear on the outside, and he was on it was my left, his right, and I swerved toward him but around him, so I didn't hit the people. But Papa Bear was pulling his roller bag with his right hand. And as I swerved and hit the brakes at the same time, I jerked forward just enough where I was still driving and I had momentum, and just poof, I hit his roller bag and it goes flying out of his hand.
Oh my God.
He gets jerked back, his arm gets jerked back, and it's airborne and it flies backwards. And I'm in the car, it's stopped, I put it in park, and I'm frozen. And they're all like really silent, like they're not mad. And he goes back, and it flew about, I would say it flew about 6 feet in the air, like, and landed. And he grabs his roller bag and he picks it up and he comes walking up. And I get out of the car and I go, I am so sorry. I apologize. I am so sorry. And he goes walking right by me. He comes around my side of the car. They go on the inside by the left. He comes around the right toward me. And I'm standing there. I'm looking him in the eyes. And I go, I am so sorry. And he doesn't even acknowledge me. Like with his eyes, he doesn't look at me. And he just goes, we're late. And hustles away.
Oh my God.
And they just kind of do it like a jog. They kind of like a brisk walk to the elevator. And I won't lie to you, I'm a mental patient. So I recognize I was clearly in the wrong for smashing his luggage and almost killing his family. But I was nice enough to stop the car and get out and apologize to this guy.
Oh my God.
How do you not even have the common courtesy to look at me and go, oh, well, that's okay, or anything. Acknowledge me as a human being. Don't fucking yell, we're late. So I'm standing there, they're walking, and so I just go, so am I! I don't know what that accomplished, but it made me feel better about being disrespected and ignored by this guy. So I get back in my car, and I go to find a spot, and I have to park all the way on the other side of the elevators, like clearly the opposite side of the building. I get out, I grab my stuff, and I hustle. And I get in the elevator, and I ride down, and the doors open, and there's easily 20 people waiting for the shuttle. Which means I'm 21st in line, which means I'm not getting on the first shuttle. Now it's 7:30. Plane leaves at 8:10. So I go and I get in line, and I'll tell you this, fucking Papa Bear and his family, they're one person ahead of me.
Wow.
Way to save time, buddy. Could have stopped and acknowledged me, could have been a nice person. We could have gone down in the elevator together and shared a good laugh. But instead, you decided to cop attitude with the guy who almost killed you and your family. Good for you. I hope you feel good about yourself. You beat me. You're 2 spots ahead of me. Ooh, good for you. So I get in line, and then his wife and kid kind of eye me warily, because I'm also a giant. And he turns around to look at me, and I just go, I'm really sorry. And now he's like jovial because we're trapped in one spot, and he's like, oh, it's okay, and he's kind of nice, and but I don't know how he let me get away with it. because he was kind to me. You know, he was okay. And I look down as he's talking. His roller bag is destroyed. I mean, like one wheel is jutting out to the side. And it looks like the handle is crooked, like kind of twisty crooked. And honestly, it's compressed. It looks like an L. Like it looks like like whatever. Like if you had a bag full of eggs, all of them are fucking broken. I smashed it, and it's like this weird. It looks like abstract art. It just became abstract art in flight. It was like still life with weird luggage. I mean, it was so fucking bad. Still life with an accident. That's what we'll call it. But it was just gnarled. I mean, it just looked fucking terrible. But he never called me on it. So I'm panicking now because I'm late. There's people, and everybody's wearing nice clothes, and they're chatting about their trips, and they've got babies in strollers, and they're kissing and hugging one another, and they're passing out grapes. They're all having a good time, and I'm freaking the fuck out because I'm late. And I don't want to go to the line and go, hey, can I get in the shuttle first? Because honestly, the fucking shuttle is going to be ruinous anyway because it's going to stop all over the fucking place. I'm going to Alaska Airlines, which I don't even know what terminal it's in, but I know it's not in 1 or 2. So I'm going to have to stop, start, and all this bullshit. I'm just freaking out. So I'm looking for cabs. There are no cabs. Usually there are cabs down there. No fucking cabs. And that drives me crazy. So I'm waiting, and I walk down to the front of the line, and I look, and then I walk back, and people are commiserating. They're smiling. They're laughing. And you know what? I've been them. And I've seen the guy who's late pacing back and forth, and I've been like, fuck you, buddy. Should have got to the airport earlier. So I know exactly what they're thinking. But also at the same time, I'm thinking, hey, folks, I live alone now. My butler quit. I can't get myself off on fucking the right foot every trip. Or apparently any trip. So I'll get the hang of it soon. By the time I go to Milwaukee, I'll have it down. So by the way, I need to ride to the airport from Milwaukee. So hey, Lily. What day? November. What is it? October. The night of the 29th. Tuesday night. I'm on a red eye. Next Tuesday, the night we record. Let's not check that now. Let's do that later. What do you think? All of a sudden you started pulling up the calendar. You're done. All right, good. Folks, you heard it here.
I'm out. I'm not done. I'm out.
Oh, you're out. Okay. It's a different story. I'm tired. So I start pacing around. I'm looking. All of a sudden a cab comes by. A cab, just a green, like a nondescript, and I'm like, oh, fine, thank God. So he comes over, and I wave like both hands at him, like there's been an accident, and I need his help. And he slows down, and I go, listen to me, I need to get to Alaska Airlines now. And he goes, $10. I said, that's it, $10? He goes, $10. I go, done, I'm in, let's go. I run up, and I grab my bag, I throw it in the back, and I hop in the back seat. And I go, fucking let's do this. Let's go right now. $10. So he goes, all right, hold on, sir. And he fucking starts the car and he zooms like he fucking flies. I'm like, yeah, finally, a cab driver who fucking gets it. I was in New York and I didn't want these fucking guys. And I threw up. I threw up in the cab in fucking New York, as you know. But this guy, I was ready. Because I don't know what the fuck Alaska Airlines, but all I know is I am fucking late. So I hop in the car and he goes, hold on, sir. And we drive off. And as he's driving, I take a 10 out of my wallet and I smack it on his chest. I reach over the fucking front seat and I go, bam, there's your $10. Get me going. And he's like, all right, sir, hold on. What are we going on? I said, Alaska Airlines. He goes, let's move. And he's driving and he starts to approach the airport. And there were cops outside the airport. There's like cops with AR-15s and they've got a blockade. And he goes, hold on, sir. And I go, don't go through the blockade. And he goes, what? And I go, don't. You got to stop for those fucking guys. He goes, they know me. They see me. I go, stop. Fuck, you got brown skin. You're going to get gunned down. I got to get to the fucking plane, dude. So he finally gets to the cops and he slows down and he's like, hello, sir. Nice to see you. And they wave at us and they just wave us through. And he goes, they see me all the time. They should know me by now. And I'm like, that's not a chance you want to take in America. And I wanted to say his name because there's more of a camaraderie when I'm rooting a guy on with his name. So I looked down at his name tag to use his name. And I don't know where the fuck this guy is from. He was from India from his accent and his looks. But at the same time, his name tag, I couldn't figure it out. It looked like someone had dynamited the alphabet. It was fucking crazy. There were just letters on their sides. There were fucking circles. I don't know. There was like fucking a 7, 3 Qs in the Batman logo. It was like, what the fuck is this guy's name? I can't pronounce that. But I need this guy on my side. So I go, dude, what's your name? And he goes, Michael. So apparently the Batman logo in India is an L. Michael. And I go, you're Michael? I'm Mike. This is fake. Get me to fucking Alaska Airlines. He goes, hold on, sir. He fucking floors it, and he's zooming around, he's hopping lanes. I'm like, this is awesome. And then we get caught behind this cab. And it's a cab I've never seen before in LA, because there's now all these fancy new cabs because they're trying to compete with Lyft and Uber. And this cab was pastel, like pink and green. And on the side in cursive, it said Metro Cab. Ho ho. It actually had that. Like, it had a picture of Charles Nelson Riley. Metro Cab. Ho ho. And he gets behind it and it won't move. And he goes, come on, this guy. And I go, yeah, right? Let's fucking zoom. And he goes, no, he is going where we are going. He is in the same lane. These faggot Metro Cabs.
Oh my god.
And it just made me laugh that the stereotype exists even in cars. Because it's pastel pink and green. So, of course, it's a faggot car with the fucking pastel things and the fucking cursive writing. Oh, faggot car. So then he gets behind it and he's like, oh, I cannot believe it. Look at he's just going so slow, this faggot. And I'm like, yeah, it's terrible, this faggot. Come on, get me to my fucking plane. Hold on, sir. And he fucking drives and he zooms, he zips, he moves, he grooves, he gets from one lane to the other and he fucking hops over. All of a sudden there's Alaska Airlines. He's like, Alaska, sir. And he cuts off a fucking shuttle. Boom, gets me right up to the gate. It took like 5 minutes. It was awesome. Even with stopping for the cops, it took 5 minutes. And I just go, God damn it, Michael. Nice way to go, Michael. Michael and Mike, what a team. And he goes, yes, sir. And I took another 5 out and I slapped it on his chest. There's 5 for your trouble. He's like, thank you, sir. Have a good flight. And part of me was like, you know what? You should just fucking drive me to Seattle. I'd probably get there a lot faster. So I grab my fucking luggage and I run in. And I go to check in, and they check me in at the gate. And then and again, folks, I have to check in with you people. So I go to the kiosk and I check in, and that's normal and that's fine. But then it tells me the gate to go to, and I go up to the gate. But then I got to go through security. And fuck, dudes, I think I've told you with the American Airlines Gold, you just skip to the front. They're just like, hey man, go through here. And there's a line of like maybe 9 people. They give you a mint. They're all fancy and friendly. In fact, Officer Friendly is the one in charge. So from my youth, he showed up. But now I've got to be with you people. I've got to be down in steerage with you and DiCaprio and Winslet, and we're trapped in the fucking. If there's a fucking flood, we're dead. We're dead. I'm gonna die with you, peasants. Ugh. So I go to get in the line. There's the zigzag of the velvet ropes and shit like that. And there's one woman in the front of it, and I look at her and I go, listen, my flight is at 8:00. It is now like 7:40. I have to get to the front. Is there any way we can skip me? She goes, your flight's at 8:10. That's a half hour. You'll make it. Completely not caring, because again, I don't have the cachet of Gold Flyer, folks. So I wait in line. And I fucking wait in line, and I take my shoes off and my belt off, and I go through the fucking thing, and I see where the gate is that I got to get to, and I hustle, I fucking run, and I wind up at the gate, and there's nobody. Usually when you get to the gate, there's people sitting, nobody sitting. The doors open, and they're about to close them, because I made it at like 8:04 for an 8:10 flight.
Wow.
And she's like, I get to the front, and she goes, are you Schmidt or Chavez? I said, Schmidt. And she goes, boarding pass. She goes, great, you just made it. She goes, however, you're going to have to check that bag. I go, it's a carry-on bag. She goes, the plane is full, and we've already got people in there. It's just not going to work. I'm like, God damn it. But I'm on the plane. That's all I care about is I'm on the fucking plane. So I check the bag, get on the plane, and I sit down. I go over. I'm in 9A, as I mentioned. And I get in, and there's a woman in 9C, nobody in 9B, and I'm in 9A. It's gorgeous. Nobody's going to be sitting next to me for the entire fucking flight. So I look at the woman in 9C and her noise-canceling headphones, and she grimaces, and she's mad that she has to stand up and let me into the fucking aisle. Well, you can sit there if you want, but I'll just fucking climb over you. I'm serious. Like, yeah, you might have noise-canceling headphones on, but you don't have any cock-canceling headphones in your lap. As I shimmy across you to get to the fucking aisle seat.
Oh my god.
So stand up and cheer up. So I go through and I sit down in the window. And I'm like, good. It's exciting. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to fly. I'm ready. I throw my hoodie on. I start putting my iPod on. Throw my earbuds in and put the hood up. And they're like, cloth check for takeoff. We're going to close the fucking bins. Everything's closing the Bombay doors, Hal, whatever the fuck. And then all of a sudden they're like, hold on. Whoa. And the waitress comes in and she looks in my aisle, and then she walks back out. And I'm like, that's not good. And then sure enough, here comes Chavez. Here comes Chavez. And guess where Chavez is? 9B. Of course he's in 9B. And noise canceling, furious. She has to let him in, so he sits down. And he was a little cholo guy, a little tiny guy. He's probably like 5'5", but he was wearing the pants of a much larger man. And I wouldn't even say they were pants. They were kind of those 3/4 shorts, like cargo shorts, but they were jeans with that really crazy embroidered stitching on the pockets. And they were like size 60, and they're hanging down, and he's got, fucking like Chucks on, and that's fine. Good for him. Viva la Raza. So that made me laugh. So he sits down, and I said to him immediately, I'm like, look, I'm real sorry. I'm a big dude, and I apologize. You're going to be squished. And he's like, no problem. And he immediately puts the armrest down, which I don't blame him. That's fine. And it's not that big a deal with me anymore because I'm not as big as I was. But it's still a thing. And so Chavez was a nice man. The only problem I have with Chavez is he had kind of a stench. He pulled out his boarding pass, and I should tell you, I apologize. He pulled out his boarding passes. He had 4 boarding passes. I saw one was for to Seattle, and one was from Seattle to San Antonio. And then I don't know where Chavez was going to wind up in America after that. Where in the world is Stinky Chavez? I'm going to pitch that to PBS. Where in the world is Stinky Chavez? Because he did reek. You know what he smelled like? He smelled like he smelled like stale sweat and blood. He smelled like blood. Does that make sense? Yeah. Metallic. Like it was like weird sweat and blood, and also he has a little trouble finding his ass in those giant pants because it smelled like he might have had he wasn't very he needed some undercarriage work. So so I tried to tune that out. Put my hoodie up and I blasted the fan on me to hope that the Stinky Chavez scent would go away. And I know noise canceling was like, why do I not have scent canceling headphones? Why do I not have Stinky Chavez canceling headphones? I'm going to market those too. We'll tie those in with where in the world is Stinky Chavez. Stinky Chavez canceling headphones. Get on it, Bose. Get on it, Tweaked. Fuck Bose. Tweaked. Invent some where in the world is Stinky Chavez stink canceling headphones. Think of it and think of a shorter name. Think of a shorter name. I can't market everything for you guys. I came up with the idea. Send me some prototypes. So, do me a favor. Send me 2 boxes of prototypes to Lily's house. So we take off. We're in the air, and I go to sleep. Of course, I Stinky Chavez or not, I crash out, and then I dream of blood monsters. Got my hoodie up, listening to the fucking iPod. Awesome. Land in Seattle, and I was being picked up by a listener. You guys are nice enough. Sometimes people offer, and sometimes I put the call out there, and people will come and get me, and that works out great. So far, it's worked out great. I mean, I haven't been stabbed or murdered or hidden in a trunk or anything yet. Actually, I have. I have been murdered. I'm a ghost. Happy Halloween. This is the Ghost Show. I always talk about internet ghosts. I've become one, folks. We are legion. We are hive mind. We are the world. No, we are the children. We are the ghosts. We are the boys. It's another great song off the Velvet Goldmine soundtrack. I saw Velvet Goldmine, and I love that movie. I love it. Love the soundtrack. Love the movie. Christian Bale's in it, and Ewan McGregor. Oh, full frontal. I don't have a man crush on him or anything. But in that, see, he's like, all right, in the movie, and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. And I know just by saying those names, you guys are all like, that is the gayest movie of all time. Yes, it is. It really is. You need to check it out. Because here's the thing. I've talked about it. There's a scene in there where Christian Bale is watching, he's watching Glitter Rock. He's watching like the David Bowie character, the Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, and he stands up and he looks at his parents and he goes, "That's me. That's me." Like he wants to say that to them because it's like, that's who I want to be. And I've felt that moment many times when you see something happening like that. No, that's this. So I made Karen watch that movie, Velvet Goldmine, with me. And she fucking watched it. And just at the end of it, it ended and she just kind of did this slow turn to me. She's like, Are you trying to tell me something? And I'm like, what? And she's just like, well, that's a really gay movie. Like, are you saying that? And I'm like, no, I enjoyed the movie. The fact that I'll suck a cock is completely separate from my enjoyment of this film. No, honey, come on. But it's like, Ewan McGregor's in it, and it's fucking awesome, and the music is the best. How did I spin in a Velvet Goldmine? Because we are the boys. It's the song on the soundtrack. Anyway, folks, you people out there, although you may not want to pick me up now after I've confessed to my love for Ewan McGregor. So. Their listeners will volunteer sometimes. I will put out the word and people will come and get me, and that's very nice of people. Thank you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be in Milwaukee next week. If anybody would like to pick me up at the airport in Milwaukee, that would be great. Oh, I'm sorry, Jill? All right, you're in. Okay, good. Because Jill's picking me up. I'm just being silly, but I just thought I'd throw it out there. But Jill would be so mad. Like, literally, my phone would ring right now. She doesn't even have my phone number, but my phone would ring. and somehow she would find out about it because it's in the ether. She knows that I said she couldn't pick me up. But that's I'm teasing. But this time around, as I was heading off to Seattle, as I was jetting off to the Pacific Northwest, as I was going forward to Sonic Town. It's not Sonic Town anymore. Mariner Town, Seahawk Town, Pilot Town. Used to be the Seattle Pilots. That was the old baseball club there. I just fucking seriously, it's just a tornado at this point. I'm just caught in it and shit's just flying by. You guys, that's what it is. You guys are like Dorothy, and when she's in her house in the middle of the tornado and shit just flies by the window. Like you just saw a Seattle Pilots uniform fly by. You just saw the Velvet Goldmine and Ewan McGregor full frontal. All that shit's happening. You're looking out your window into a tornado, folks. That's how this works. A tornado of bees, crazy bees. That'd be a fun picture. I should get Mex to paint that. Hey, by the way, let's talk about this. It's Mex's 20th anniversary today. Mex's 20th wedding anniversary. He and his wife Kristen, who are, of course, two of my best friends and my pseudo parents when I'm home in Chicago. I found out I will be home in Chicago in December. Hey, we have to talk about that for recording purposes. All right, so we got a mess coming up. We got a whole fucking 12-car pileup happening between my schedule and Lily's schedule. It's going to be interesting to see how we deal with it and dance around it. The boss, luckily, she'll be able to do the best. I'm the one who's, as always, the problem. But we'll talk about that later. As soon as I can remember that. Weren't you supposed to tell me something else I was supposed to talk about? I thought there was something else. Remind me. I said, remind me something. All right. I don't know. It went away. So it's Mex's 20th anniversary today. He fucking... Dudes. All right, listen to me. Listen to me, people. Mex put up his wedding photos. Like, he and his wife simultaneously changed their cover photo to be their wedding announcement, a wedding picture, and a now picture. That's pretty neat. And then David put up their engagement photo. And I don't know what possesses people on America's Yearbook to turn it into open mic night. I don't get it. It's just... It's fucking ridiculous. The man put up his picture of his wedding announcement. He and his wife when they were much younger, and also let's say this, beautiful. Kristen beautiful, Mex perhaps even more beautiful at that point. And it's just a great photo and nostalgia, and then they have their wedding announcement. I mean, that's so cool to me. And then sure enough, everybody's like, "Ha, nice shirt." What the fuck? What the fuck? Can anybody share anything of themselves without having to fucking turn it into this fucking roast? I mean, I don't get it. It's so fucking dumb. Ha, you look stupid. What? What do you mean I look stupid? That was the day I announced my wedding. I got a photo taken. Jesus Christ. And the thing is, Mex made fun of it first because I think he knew that something was going to happen, but he didn't do it mean. He just did it in a subtle way. But he can do that. It's his fucking wedding announcement, he and his wife. But then everybody else comes chiming in out of left field, zoom, fucking blasting him. And it's just like, dudes, whatever happened to nice photo? Whatever happened to you guys look great? Whatever happened to congratulations? You know where they are? They all left on the fucking Facebook train, and they left behind, nice shirt. That's it. I don't fucking get it. I don't know why people do it. It's such a weird instinct. I mean, I don't. All right, fuck. That's a can of bullshit worms. All right, so, but if someone's sharing of themselves, they're sharing something that's so. It's like Lily. Lily put up these amazing photos of herself from what was it, the early '90s or was it the early 2000s? Early '90s. Yeah. There's a photo of her in a fucking elevator that I honestly, I know Lily in person and I've seen her naked.
Windows? What the fuck?
Long story.
Oh, Christ.
Naked-ish, fine. Regardless, I have naked Lily in my head anytime I want it. I jerk off to the elevator photo. That's how fucking amazing that picture is. It is so beautiful. Oh, I mean it. I mean it in a really nice way. That's the nicest, seriously. I mean that in the nicest possible way. I mean, I've seen you naked-ish, whatever, and you're in my head naked, and I can have that. I can access that image anytime that I'd like. Probably more times than Lily would like. But still, I say, nice to see you again, naked Lily. Here's elevator Lily pushing you out of the way just for a second. And sometimes, I got to be honest, I have naked Lily and elevator Lily queer off. It happens.
Really?
Why not? Why not? It's like if you had a time machine, like you wouldn't go back and fuck yourself? Come on. No. I might. No, that seems weird.
Because I did back then.
See?
I'm going to have to go back and do it again.
Perfect. But come on, you wouldn't scissor your old self? I couldn't even say it. Stupid. What a jerk. Now, see, now I'm sullying your amazing photo. How ridiculous am I? I'm bitching at everybody else. I squealed like a girl on that joke. I couldn't even get it out. Jesus. Fuck killing Hitler. I'm going to scissor myself in an elevator. God damn it. Hitler's safe. Sorry, Jews. I got to get off on the lift. Oh, yeah. God damn it. Yeah, dirt, dirt. Fuck. I don't even know what that noise was that came out of me. That was frightening. But you put up that photo and everybody wrote really nice things and they're all just like, oh, that amazing photo. Did some other people chime in with bad things?
People always write weird shit.
Well, yeah, it's because it's Facebook. That's true. I don't understand it, but everybody does that because everybody. Like I said, Facebook is the worst cocktail party in the world. And again, you might have some pleasant conversation with like 3 people, and then some dumb fuck comes and sticks his thumb in your drink, and it's like, what are you doing? Ha ha! I didn't see that coming. You working hard or hardly working? Duh! Look at this tie. Get the fuck out of here, hump. I mean it. What are you doing? Go live your life and be happy. Why are you coming here making fun of my goddamn photos or my friends' photos? It makes no sense. And these are nice photos. Look, if I put a picture of a cake with a hole in it, fine, make fun of it. But if I put up a nice picture, and I don't, I guess. But I mean, if my friends do, it just, because that's another thing. Mex isn't, he's not me. Like, I'm a pincushion and come after me, that's fine. But poor Lily and David have been sucked into this universe. They've been sucked into the tornado, and you happen to see them through your window, and you're like, haha, I can make fun of them. Don't. If that's your instinct, pull it back. Rein it in. Grab the reins. Fucking throttle down. Say whoa. Say whoa. If you're going to fucking come after Lily and David, just go ahead and say whoa. I think we all know that I'm the only one that can come after Lily. And not David, though. David, that's a mess. There's things I'll try to tell David, and he just goes, nah. Like, he just won't even hear it. It's so funny. All right, so. But I guess my point is think twice, folks. Think 3 times. And don't hit send. And don't push any fucking buttons. It's so crazy. All right. So people will step up. And they'll offer to come pick me up. And that's really nice of them, and I do appreciate it. And this time around, there was a listener by the name of, should I say his last name?
Never.
Paul Hoover.
Always.
So Paul Hoover is our friend. And Paul writes me on Facebook. And he's like, hey, Mike, I just want to let you know I am at your disposal. If you need me to pick you up at the airport, if you need me to take you to the venue, whatever you need from me, I can go ahead and provide that. That'd be cool. And so I wrote him, I go, Paul, I think I'm actually going to take you up on that because I'm only in town for 1 day, which is not enough time for me to suss out a few rides. So if you want to be my go-to guy, but you know what? It's funny. There's a great scene in Velvet Goldmine where Ewan McGregor is talking to Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, and Ewan McGregor is just this drugged-out fried dude. He's essentially the Iggy Pop in the movie, and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is the David Bowie in the movie. And so Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is fascinated with Ewan McGregor, and he's trying to get him like kind of on the straight and narrow, and Ewan McGregor says, well, heroin was my main man, but now, you could be my main man. And so that's how I feel about Paul Hoover. Paul Hoover, you could be my main man. That's how I felt on the ground in Seattle. So I said, yeah, man, if you're in, that's great. I said, my flight gets in at 10:50 a.m. on Saturday. And, thanks, and here's the number, and there you go. And then I get an email back from Paul Hoover, a Facebook message, massage. And it says, I usually don't get up that early. But, and I should say this. In my email, I said, it flight's at 10:50. I go, because, I don't know if that does anything, but, if you're not going to pick me up, you're an Indian giver. That's what I said. And so then he's like, I usually don't get up that early. But I think I'll make it out there at 10:50, but I'll probably just wait in the cell phone thing and call me when. And I was like, well, don't make me twist your fucking arm, Paul Hoover. I mean, you were the one who stepped up and you were willing to do all this stuff. And now, and by the way, when is 11 o'clock early for anybody in the fucking world? Well, I mean, I used to go to bed at 8 in the morning, and if I get up at 11 o'clock, I wouldn't be able to say, oh, I'm up early. I would say, oh, yeah, I'm up when America is up. I'm up when everybody in the world is up. But Paul Hoover, apparently for him, it was enough for him to mention it to me and make me go, well, then, you know what? Fuck you, Paul Hoover. No, thanks. Not interested. I actually had that fight in my head. In my head, I was going to write him back and go, you know what? Fuck it, Paul. Forget it. I'm sure I can find somebody else, or I'll take a cab, or I'll fucking walk. Because the last thing I want to do is drag your carcass out of bed at 11 o'clock in the fucking morning. God knows you're so dainty you need to fucking sleep, Paul Hoover. So that's what went through my head a little bit. But instead, unlike you people, I just typed thanks. And I was like, that's cool, 10:50. And then so I didn't know what to expect. So he did say to just text him when I get to town and let him know when I'm, because I had to check a bag, whatever. So we landed, we hit the ground. And I said, we're taxiing. I'm sorry, Paul Hoover, that I have to deal with this, but we're going to have to, I made me check a bag. I got to deal with that now. And he's like, that's fine, man. Just, text me over at the cell phone thing. Paul Hoover, I'm the talent. I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm the talent. Maybe you come in and get a bag. Could you carry a bag? Could you do that possibly? I just mentioned I had to check a bag. I mean, you could meet, you could park and come in to the airport and meet me there because, again, I'm the fucking talent. There's 7 letters in Schmidt. If you can't spare 7 letters of Sharpie ink and write it on a sign and hold it, you're not really a fan. So, so I come downstairs and my bag comes out and I step outside and I walk outside in Seattle, folks, and the carnage, the terror. I saw my breath right when I walked outside. Holy Christ, it was so bad. It was like 50 degrees, and I'm like, I regretted bringing my teeth on the trip because they started chattering immediately. Should have left them at home. So I get outside and I text Paul Hoover and I'm like, hey, I'm here. I'm down at Alaska. And he's like, are you right by the Alaska sign? Could I make it any easier for you, Paul Hoover? Maybe you'd like me to lie down in the middle of the road so you knew exactly who I was. Is that what you need? But instead I texted back, yes, fat guy, earbuds, hoodie. And he's like, all right. He's like, I'm in a Volkswagen. I'm on my way. Oh, you're in a Volkswagen, Paul Hoover. Could you have mentioned that to me possibly so I knew I was climbing into a goddamn Matchbox car to go to my hotel? I'm a giant. You can't put giant talent in such a small vehicle. It can't be done. Rent a better car next time, Paul Hoover. Who do you think you are? Pick me up in your cabriolet. You know what Michael the cab driver would say? This faggot Volkswagen. That's what he would say. And I'd slap another 5 on his chest. There you go. Hold on, sir. Fucking Hoover. So, all of a sudden a black station wagon pulls up, and it's kind of it's got a way back. So that's good. It wasn't like a bug. I thought it was going to be a VW bug, but instead it's got a way back. So I got to throw my luggage in there and stuff. And I get in the car with Paul Hoover, and he's by the way, Paul Hoover's like 6'10". I mean, he's a giant. So if he can fold himself up and put him in a Volkswagen, I guess he assumes everybody else in the world can. But I'm more of a horizontal problem than a vertical problem. But that's fine. So I get in and Paul was super nice and he's like, hey, and how are you? And we made small talk a little bit, and he told me about his band. He has a band called the Chibacabra. And I was like, what kind of music it is? He's like 70s funk. Again, Paul Hoover in his polo shirt, 6'10" white guy, scrawny goat, folded into a Volkswagen, 70s funk. Sure, it's 70s funk. Good for you, Bootsy. So I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah. I go, well, who are your influences? He goes, well, Herbie Hancock, and and I'm just like, whoa, that's actually kind of a, I mean, we know Herbie Hancock is famous because of Rocket, and then he won the Grammy a couple of years ago. But for like some, skinny white dude to pull that out, it was just like, because he could have said any, because I said like Parliament or George Clinton, it just seemed weird. It just feel like, because that's not somebody's they go to influence. So we talked a bit. He's a teacher. He's a preschool teacher, and I asked him what he got to do that because I'm very interested in getting into that field, folks. I think I'd be good for the kids. I'd certainly be a cautionary tale every day. And I'd enjoy apples. So, they're going to bring me apples. They love me. Kids love me. Hoover had a fucking back seat full of apples. It was crazy. I was like, where'd these come from? The kids? So, Paul Hoover. We talk. We make a little small talk, and he drives me to the airport, or drives me to the hotel, I should say. And then he says, hey, I have a cooler in the back for you that's got some Propel in it if you want some Propel.
Aww.
And I'm like, well, I guess it's okay that he didn't get out of the car and hold a sign that said Schmidt. I guess the Propel makes it all okay. So we get to the hotel, and as we go to pull up, he looks at me and he goes, do you want me to hang out while you do the bed bug check?
Dude.
In case something happens? And little by little, Hoover gaining stature. Paul Hoover gaining stature in my eyes. And I said, yes, absolutely. I think I would like that. So he parks outside. We go inside. I check in with Amanda. By the way, I have to call the hotel. I went up with some phantom $25 charge on my fucking card. I got to find out what that is. So I check in, and I go up to my room at 6:13. And he comes in, and he's like, all right, how do we do this bed bug check? Like, well, you got to pull up the sheets, you got to look at the corners, you got to run your fingers along the thing. And I I go over and I pull up the corner of the sheet and I crouch down, and I mean right next to me, face right in it. He is in the shit. Paul Hoover's right in the shit. He buries his face in the mattress with me. It was like Sherlock Holmes and Watson. Like the two of us are fucking just going and running our fingers and we're looking, and I'm going, you're looking for stuff, you're looking for this, you're looking for that, and then I lift the mattress up and there's a little brown thing on the under the box spring. And I'm like, oh, under the mattress. I'm like, oh, dude. And I pick it up, and I put it on a Kleenex so I can analyze it under the light. And I go, I don't know. It doesn't look like one of the exoskeletons, but who knows what it could be. It just could be like bed bits, but I mean, it's a weird place for it under the mattress. And so I continued to look. And Paul's like, well, is it close? What do you just do the same on the other side? I go, yeah. And he goes, all right, well, go ahead. And so I start doing it on the other side, and he goes over by like the office part of the hotel room. And he starts futzing around over there. And I'm like, is he going through my bags? What's Paul Hoover doing? Trying to take a fucking souvenir? So I finish my bed bug check, and he comes over and he actually puts the bedding back on for me. And he goes, so I brought you some Propel, and I put them in the fridge for you. And I also stopped and I bought you some Chobani.
Wow.
So there's some yogurts. I went ahead and stocked the fridge that has yogurt, and it has your Propel in there. And I bought you a peanut butter and jelly bar. He goes, I thought of you because I was in a coffee house and they had them. It was like a special peanut butter and jelly bar. And he goes, you might not like it, but if you do, that's great. But I picked it up for you because I thought of you the second I saw it. And I walk over, and remember I said he was futzing around in the office and all that stuff? He set a place for me on the table. Like, he put the Chobani away, he put the Propel away, and the peanut butter bar is there. And there's a paper towel folded like in a triangle, like a little paper hat, like a triangle. And it's sitting there, and he goes, oh, and I brought you a spoon from my house because I know you don't like to use the plastic spoon, so I brought you a metal spoon from my house.
Dude.
And it's on the napkin. It's like he set a table for me with the peanut butter bar and everything, and the stuff's in the fridge. And I mean, I am constantly blown away by the kindness that you people show me. Not only in paying attention to the show and listening, but then to come out live and support. But then whenever we meet and we talk, and you guys are always very friendly and really nice and supportive of me, Lily, and David when you're not making fun of us. So I'm not kidding when I said I had those fights in my head about Paul and the fucking 1050, all that ridiculous shit. But it all went away, obviously, when he could not have been nicer. He could not have been friendlier. He was so sweet in the car. And then he comes upstairs with me, and then he set up. I just looked at him and I go, why? Well, that's amazing. And he's like, well, I know you don't like the plastic spoon, so I got a metal spoon for you. And I said, all right, well, I think I hugged him, and I'm like, you're so nice, dude. And he bought me 3. Really? He bought me 3. Lily just made the blowjob sign with her mouth. No offense. Paul Hoover's a good-looking guy, but he's not a Ewan McGregor. If Ewan McGregor drops by, then forget about it. But he bought me 3 Chobani, and he bought some Propel, and he fucking filled the fridge. So I mean, I was like, dude, that's amazing. And he's like, what time do you need me back here? And I said, you know what, I need to be back at the club probably by 6. So I said, if you get here at 5:45, that'll work. And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, I said, it's only like half a mile away, right? And he goes, yeah. And I go, you know what, 5:50. And he goes, okay. I go, check that. 5:52. Take 2 minutes for yourself, Hoover. He's like, I go, Paul, come on. 5:52. Show up at 5:52. It'll cover it. And he's like, all right, cool. And he left. He was very nice. And then I spent the day writing trying to figure out what the show is going to be, because I'm not sure. Again, it's all new. Not all new, but it's all new for stage. It's like when I did Risk. I told a story on Risk that's from this show, but I've never told it live on stage, and never told it again since. I should bring it back because it did really well on Risk. And it's like Schmitty Comes Alive is a story I told once, and then it's gone into the ether, and I got to stop doing that. But I'll tell you what, you know how I say that all the time, folks? How I don't like to bring you the same thing over and over. And you guys are always, again, very nice. Lily says the same thing. She's like, people want to see you do stuff. That's fine. Just go there and be yourself and tell stories. They don't care. That's what they want. They're in the room with you. Take them where you want them to go. But kind of where I want you to go is somewhere you've never been before. So that's why I try to do different stories and things like that. But I'll be modifying it and changing it as I'm on the road more, I think, because I want to be able to slip different stories in different cities and have fun like that. But there was a quote. I don't know if you saw, there was an interview going around with Bill Watterson, who drew Calvin and Hobbes, and that interview went around the internet last week, and he had this phrase, and he said, "Repetition is the death of magic." And I can't believe he said it. Well, I mean, I can because he wrote Calvin and Hobbes, but I mean, he said it better than I've ever said it in my life. That's how I feel. I feel if you keep doing something, it loses its fucking luster completely. So that's kind of how I feel, is that repetition is the death of magic, but at the same time, I kind of still have to repeat stuff, and because I can't just come in and be some bon vivant who goes on and talks on fucking stage. I can do it here because I've got my Lily, and she fucking, shows me a legal pad and tells me where I'm at, but on stage, it's a totally different story. So, Hoove leaves. I spend time figuring out what the show is going to be. And finally, I get ready, I get showered, I get dressed, and now it's like almost 5 to 6, and I haven't heard from Paul. And I'm like, oh, fuck, come on, Paul, what's happening? And then I grabbed my phone, and he texted me. He's like, I'm downstairs anytime you want to come down. So I missed his text. He was there. I go downstairs. He's in the lobby. Very nice. We go to the theater. And, I've played there before. And the last time I was there, there's this woman named Jane who books it. And she's really cool on the phone and in emails. But at the same time, she's kind of she's proactive about running her theater, which is good. But at the same time, me, I'm a fucking idiot, so I don't like that so much. Last time she was there, I worked, and then I booked it through her. But she was in Africa when I was in town. So when she got back from Africa, she actually wrote me a note and said, I heard it went really well. Thank you so much for coming here. We're glad you thought of us. We love this theater, and we're glad you gave our space a chance. She was really friendly. So that's why when I contacted her again, she's like, oh my God, we're so excited to have you back. So I get to the theater. Hey, is Jane here? No, she's not coming in tonight. She's not coming in tonight. Jane, who was in Africa for my first performance and now is actually in Seattle, and she says not to come. Thanks, Jane. But even worse than that was at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's the thing I do, because I'm a terrible businessman, folks. I will book a theater, and then that's it. I just figure I'm booked, and I never talk to the theater again until like a couple days beforehand, when I'll tell them, because I send them a rider of what I need and want. And for the first Success Is Not an Option tour, I told them I was going to have music cues, and I needed light cues, and what I wanted microphone-wise, and all that different stuff. And then I would send it to the theater, and they would ignore it. And then I would call them the day before, and they'd be like, hey, did you send us a sheet or anything? Yes, motherfuckers, I sent you a sheet. Because nobody wants your money. Nobody in the world wants your money, folks. So this time around, because it's a little different, I don't need audio cues, I don't need light cues and stuff. I just tell them the only thing I really want is a microphone with a round bass. I just want a microphone stand with a round bass, and that's it. So I sent Jane her thing, and then she's like, hey, can you send us some publicity and some press for our website? So she was really proactive about it, but then I was, whatever, she wasn't there the fucking night of. But I didn't talk to her for like 2 weeks before the show. And then I get to town, and at 4 o'clock I send her a text, and I'm like, at 2 o'clock. I say, hey, Jane, it's Mike Schmidt. I'm in town. Just letting you know I'll be at the venue at 6. And I don't know who's running the sound. I'll talk to them. And if you'll be there, that'll be great. And the text from Jane read, please make sure to tell your audience to drink drinks and eat the appetizers. It's the only way we keep the theater afloat. Well, Jane, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I'm not a commercial for your fucking theater. I paid for the place, and I rented it, and now I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want in it, quite frankly. And guess what? You know what's not on the top of that list? Selling your fucking nachos. That's not. And again, I'm indignant and weird, and I know that I'm a strange guy, but it's like, dude, if I paid for the space, why am I all of a sudden now sandwich boarding the motherfucker? You should be the person who does that and pitches it. Because she also, when I booked the joint, she's like, how many people are you going to have? I said, I really don't know. It's kind of, it changes. Remember, I said, when I was there last time, I had like 40, because it's a really small space. And she's like, oh, yeah, because we need to know how much wait staff to book. So don't lie. You just, it's okay if you're not going to have many, but you just got to tell us so we can schedule accordingly with the wait staff. And which I understood. That's fine. But then I also didn't realize that I was Ronald McDonald, and I had to tell people to eat the fucking food and drink the drinks, which seemed weird. And again, I understand what she's trying to do, and it's not really out of the realm of possibility that you would ask a performer to do something like that. But if I was the MC of a show, then I would do it. But that's me. It's my fucking show. So it just seems ridiculous that I'm supposed to what? I'm supposed to do a hunk of my show on your delicious curly fries? I mean, it makes no fucking sense. And again, that's me being an obstinate dick because I figure if I pay for the joint, I can do whatever the fuck I want in there. But that's also not true. You can't because they could fucking just say get out. It's a constant conflict, folks. It's a constant. I'm in turmoil. So I think I said fucks there instead of folks. My mouth got stuck. So I show up at the theater. I meet Chris, the cool guy who's going to run the door. Or, I'm sorry, he's going to run the sound. And then I'm like, hey, I have this will call list for you. And he's like, oh, well, who's running your door? I said, well, the last time I was here, the sound guy kind of did it too. And he's like, oh, because nobody told me that. I said, yeah. I go, it's just a list where people check in and you just cross their name off. And he's like, yeah. I go, the last guy did it. He was a nice guy. He goes, yeah. Usually people who come here and do a show bring their own door person. I said, well, it seems cost prohibitive to bring someone from Los Angeles to work my door. And he left, thankfully. And he's like, all right. He goes, you know what? What do you got to do? And I showed him what to do. And he's like, all right, I can take care of it. I go, plus there'll be walk-ups. And if there's any money, just give it to me afterwards and it'll be good. He said, great. Chris was nice. I was in the venue. Then I had to go backstage and try to learn some more jokes. And then I stepped out into the room at one point, and there was a couple there. Carl and Jessica were there. Jessica, I think, is new. Carl's not. Carl's been around forever. And then there was Shane and Jesse. But Shane was not there. Jesse was there. And I think I mentioned them earlier because Jesse, the first show she had listened to was last week. And I met her, and she's like, oh, my gosh, she goes, Shane is going to be so disappointed he missed you. And I go, well, I'll meet Shane after the show. It's not like this is the only time I'm going to come out. But that was nice. And then I went in the back, and I waited to do the show. And then, I should tell you this. I actually had a friend at the show. Now, look, all of you are my friends. All right? There's no doubt about that. We're all internet chums. But I had a real-life friend at the show. Our friend Dizzy Von Dam came out to the show. Dizzy Von Dam is a burlesque dancer from Los Angeles who now lives in Seattle to go to law school and also do burlesque. Not at the same time. Although that would probably improve her grades. I could imagine if I'm an instructor and a girl goes up there and does a fan dance. Oh, guess what? You do not have to take that pop quiz. Actually, I apologize. You've inspired a pop quiz. So Diz and I had a little back and forth where I told her I was going to be there like a month ago. And this is, all right, look, here's my relationship with Dizzy Von Dam. I've wanted to fuck Dizzy Van Dam forever. I mean, pretty much. I mean, I've talked about that, but it was like when I was married, it was always that kind of fun back and forth thing. But it was never going to happen, obviously. But then we get to be friends, so it's never going to happen, obviously, anyway. And also, it's not like she's on board. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make it sound like, oh, yeah, it's never going to happen because, we've mutually... No, there's no fucking mutual about it. I mean, I'm like, hi, and she's like, shut up. You know what I mean? It's like that thing. So I wrote her about a month ago, and I'm like, hey, did you want to come out to the show? Because I knew she's up there, and she doesn't have any... she just moved there, so she's new to the area. And she's never seen me do my show, which it's different. When you see me at the burlesque show and I do like 7 minutes and I do bring up girls and in between, it's different from seeing what I do. So I won't lie. I wanted her to fucking see what I do because it's a serious calling card because people realize that I do this. You know what I mean? You get a little cachet and you get a little fucking fastball behind you because everybody's like, oh fuck, that's what you do? Holy shit. So I wrote her a note, and I'm like, hey, Diz, I'll be in town. If you want to come out, that's great. And I signed it. It was on Facebook, and I just wrote MikeSchmidtComedy.com. I write that under my name. And she wrote me back and said, what was with the weird ad for your website? She goes, what was with the ad for your website there in your signature? You're weird. Anyway, and I'm like, you're busting my balls in like one sentence? I'm inviting you to a fucking show. Are you kidding me? And then she wrote, I don't know, maybe I will, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. And it's, it's up in the air. And whatever the fuck. Everything every person ever tells you because they don't want to commit a month in advance. She did say, she goes, I'm up for it and maybe to get a drink afterwards. But right now I can't commit to anything. She was enthusiastic, but didn't commit. So I didn't write her back for a month because I'm not, look, I'm the fucking talent, folks. When she's doing her shows, she's the talent, and that's fine. I totally understand. You're fully in control, but guess what? This is my show, so you got to come to me. I think. So then I wrote her again, and and I'm like, hey, I just want to know if you wanted to come to the show. And again, I said I'm there this weekend. Remember, and if you're busy, I totally get it. That's fine, but it's not a thing. So she texted me, or no, then she wrote me back, and she's like, hey, I wrote you a note last night. I don't know why you didn't get it, and I didn't, from Zuckerberg, and she said, I think I'm going to come out, but at the same time, my friends are having karaoke at a bar, so I think I'm going to go to that too. So I'll probably go there right after your show. I'm just trying to figure out how to get there and what to do. And I won't lie, I read that and I was just like, don't come. I'm sorry. If I'm the opener for karaoke, then just fucking stay home. Or go to karaoke. It was just like, I'm your friend. You don't know anybody here, and I'm reaching out to you to bring you to a fucking show. And so I'm a weirdo. I'm a fucking weirdo. I get it. All right. Don't hit send. But it was like, dude, really? I have karaoke, so I think I'm gonna have to leave. Whatever. So I wrote her back. And I'm like, well, I'm happy to throw you on the comp list if you want to come out. And if you want to go to karaoke, that's fine too. I totally understand it. The show should be an hour and a half, and then you can go and do whatever you want to do. You'll be out of there by 8:30. So Saturday comes along, and I'm in my hotel room, and I get a buzz, and it's her. And she's like, hey, I haven't heard back from you. I just wondered if you're still doing the show, and if I can come out. I didn't know if that was the thing. And I wrote her, and I wrote you on Facebook too. You didn't get it? And she's like, no. I said, well, fucking Zuckerberg apparently wants us to not speak to one another ever. So I said, no, I'd like you to come out. I'll throw you on the comp list. Let me know if that's what you want to do. I said, I know you got to bail afterwards for karaoke. I didn't know if you had a +1, so you got to tell me if you're doing that. And she made me laugh. She goes, no, I'm alone, literally and metaphorically. And she said, but yeah, I'd love to come to the show. And then the karaoke's after, but she goes, but I don't have to run away right at the end of the show. So I was like, that was better for me because I'm a psychopath. So I'm like, all right. So I go, well, your name's on the list. Come on out. She said she was doing homework all day. She was looking forward to getting out of the house. So I said, good. So I go to the thing, and other people were there that were very nice. But to see Dizzy, who I've not seen and who has not seen me, that was kind of a cool thing for me. So show starts. I go on stage. Dizzy is fucking front row center. As close as front row is in the theater, and I was like, and in my head I went, is that going to be weird? I go, oh, fuck it, just do what you do. And I got to tell you folks, I did not get to tape Seattle. Chris did not have the capability to tape me through the board, but I fucking destroyed. I mean, I absolutely destroyed. Because it was only, when I did it at LA Podfest, which by the way, people keep writing, I'm sorry, the audio from LA Podfest will not be released. Because I'm doing those stories on the live tour, and I want you to see them live. But also, here's some fun stuff for you folks. I asked them to mic the crowd, because last year they didn't mic the crowd, but we were in a small enough room to where the laughs came through on my microphone, and it sounded really good, but it didn't sound CD quality great. That's one of the reasons we didn't release Schmitty Comes Alive as a CD, and we instead decided to do The Big Angry. So this year I said, I'd love if you could mic the crowd. And, I'll have a microphone, whatever, round stand, all that shit that I ask people to do. And they said, great. I got the audio. Not only is the crowd not mic'd, and it's in a bigger room, so the laughs are completely swallowed up. It sounds like Bridgetown, which I'll tell you about Bridgetown a little later. Again, I'm hysterical. I was hysterical in Bridgetown, but it's just, everybody sounds so far away, it's not worth it. But also, did you listen? Yeah. The audio is in one channel. Like, it's not in one speaker. It's only in the other. So I couldn't use it anyway. I don't know what they did. All I know is when I listened to it, I was trying to listen to it. I didn't put earbuds in, so maybe it's different in earbuds. But on my computer, it's not coming out of one speaker. And I just was like, all right. And again, I wasn't releasing it anyway. This is not on them, because I want to do these stories live, and I want you to not see them coming a little bit. Although it is much, I got to be honest, it is really fun when you guys come and lip sync the stories with me. I do appreciate that. When it turns into Rocky Horror and people dress up like me and come on stage, that's always fun. I'm lucky when you do that. I'm lucky, you're lucky, Lily's lucky, the Bannister's lucky. So that's why I'm not releasing it. But everybody's very nice and you're asking, but I will tell you that's not going to happen this year. But we have some stuff. Some ideas for 2014. I'll tell you all about that as 2014 approaches. If you're still here, if you're still sticking around, if you still want to stay at Camp Schmitty. So I go on stage and I fucking destroyed it. Now I had done these stories at Podfest the week before, uh, or 2 weeks before, and that was the first time I did them was at Podfest, and it's the subject matter is a little different. So doing it live for the first time in front of people, and I will tell you this, I was weirded out at Podfest because I could see everybody's face. The room was lit up, so I could see people, and I could actually see people grimacing and getting a little like "ee," and they didn't hate it. It was just the stories they take you on kind of a rough journey, folks. Um, but at Seattle, I had already had them out and under my belt, and I was able to live in them a little more. People were very gracious and very giving, and allowed me to be indulgent and be funny. Um, and I made fun of Jane. I went on stage and I made fun of Jane with her snacks and her bullshit. I did all that on stage. And afterwards, Chris, I said, "Are you gonna tell Jane about the snacks and bullshit?" And he goes, "Oh, she'd think it was funny." And I don't know if she would or she wouldn't. But I made fun of her the last time too because she went to Africa. I said she had to flee to another continent to avoid my show. Um, I still don't know if this person exists. She could just be like a robot voicemail. I have no clue. It's just an Autobot that texts about please plug the snacks. So I did the show and man, I was fucking great. I did it at Podfest. It was only an hour and 15 minutes at Podfest. And there's another thing. I did 75 minutes at Podfest, and Mike Siegel comes up to me afterwards. He goes, "Oh, I'm a little disappointed." I'm like, what? He goes, "I was expecting to get Marathon Schmidt, like one of your fucking 2-hour outings." And I'm like, yeah, I would have liked to have done that, but it didn't lend itself to it at Podfest. And also they had to turn the room over, and I was in my head. It's all bullshit. But in Seattle, we were 2 hours. I mean, and I thought it was only going to be 90 minutes. Remember, I did it in Austin. I did 90 minutes, but I didn't even get to the stories. Well, this time around, I did a little, the Seattle, I told some stories, but also then I did the actual bulk of what I want to do. And it was 2 hours. I looked at my watch when I was like, Jesus Christ. Because it fucking flew by because I was great. And the audience was really nice and they laughed and everything was cool. And after the show, I went and met people and so many people came from Vancouver. That was the thing that cracked me up is like they all came down from Canada. Sean and Jesse were from Canada. Lewis and Gabby came on a bus from Canada, the Bolt bus. And let's say this too, by the way. Lewis and Gabby were really nice. Lewis comes up to me. He's 23. He comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, I'm so happy to meet you. I've been listening to you since I was 15 years old." I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I first season of Never Not Funny." He goes, "I remember the first time I ever heard it, and that was it." And so I've been a huge fan since I was 15. Like I grew up listening to you. And I said, "So I'm your Scooby Doo." And he's like, "Yeah, I guess so." And I'm like, "All right." And he was with his friend Gabby, who did not know who I was, but could not have been more pleasant and nice, and said she really enjoyed the show, which I hope she did. But then I'll sidetrack to this. I got home, and Gabby friended me on Facebook, and then when I went to accept, it disappeared. And it's done it 3 times. I don't know if there's some weird glitch in Facebook, but she's had a friend request for me, and then I see it on my phone, but I don't accept friend requests on my phone because I'm weird. And then when I go home, it's gone. Like, so I wonder if she's like me. Like, she takes it down after 5 minutes. She's like, "Oh, he doesn't really like me." I have no idea what it is. But it disappears because I don't ask anybody to be my friend on Facebook. That's just a dumb thing that I do. But it made me laugh. But anyway, Lewis and Gabby were really nice. I met Janet and Maria, who are 2 women who listen to the show together while they're scissoring in an elevator. How mean is that? You guys are nice and fans. I'm teasing. No, they were so nice. They bought shirts. Everybody bought shirts. They came out, and Sean and Jesse were from Vancouver. They said Carl and Jessica were there, and I met James, massage therapist James, who's the anti-Mike Schmidt, because he was all buff and he was wearing Vibrams and he doesn't like anything that I like, but for some reason he likes me. It made no sense. But he and I were like, we kept talking. I'm like, "Why do you even like me if you don't like these things?" And he's just like, "I don't know, because I'm the anti-you, I suppose." I'm like, "That's it. It sticks. You're the anti-me." Everybody came out and they were so cool, and Sean was there. Tom came up. I'm trying to remember people, and if I forget you, I do apologize. But we decided we were going to go out afterwards, and Paul Hoover was at the show, and he comes up to me, and I had made fun of Paul while I was on stage, and he comes up to me and he's like, "All right, so there's a sushi bar right across the street we can go to, and I can go check on and see what they have if they have a big room, but because I know you want somebody to take point." And I'm like, "Well, if you want to do that, that's fine. Otherwise, we can go somewhere else." He's like, "Yeah, I'll be right back." So he goes across the street, and then Jessica and Carl had found a couple of breakfast places, and I was like, well, maybe we can go to those. But Paul came back. He's like, they're right across the street. They'll give us a private room, and they're open to 1 in the morning, and they have food and booze. I'm like, done. It's a fucking sushi bar. Let's go. So Warren and Shannon came as well. We wound up going across the street, and it was Dizzy and Lewis and Gabby and Carl and Jessica and me and Warren and Shannon and Paul Hoover and anti-me, James. And we sat in the private room, and it was funny. Dizzy, she was on stage. I said something because she laughed at something, and I was like, oh, I go, actually, I go, that's a 40-year-old boy celebrity. I go, should I tell people who you are? And she's like, no. And I'm like, all right, it's fine. And then afterwards, she comes up to me outside because she let me talk to everybody. I met everybody, sold shirts and shook hands. And this is fucking weird. In the showroom, when I finished, I came out. I go in the back of the room, and then I come out, and there were people in the showroom, just a few stragglers, kind of, and there were 2 women who came up to me, and they were like, "You were so funny. You were so great." And I'm like, "Thanks." And I think one was named Rachel, and I don't remember the other woman's name because literally they could not have gotten away from me fast enough. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you were so funny. It was hilarious." And I go, "Great." And they're walking away. I go, "Are you leaving? Do you want to? Because we're going to hang out or whatever." She goes, "No." She goes, "Good luck to you," and splits. And part of me is like, did they even watch the show? But I mean, I could see them and they were laughing. They seemed to be enjoying themselves. And I talked to everybody. I go, "Did you know those 2?" And they go, "They came down from Portland to see you."
Wow.
I go, "Great. Why didn't they stop and tell me who they were and like talk?" And they're like, "I don't know," but they laughed the entire fucking time. They thought they were dying. And I'm like, "Okay, but why did they run away?" Because they were it was like they were younger women. And I don't know, it just, I guess I give off a creep vibe in person. I don't know what the fuck it was. Or because again, I've been told sometimes people get nervous and fucking run away. But if you're nervous, you don't look back and go, "Good luck to you." I mean, it's just the weirdest thing to say.
That is exactly what
Yeah.
you say when you're like,
Oh, and you're stuck for something to say? When they're all goggle-eyed or whatever. Oh, okay. Okay, well, maybe that's what it was. But I would, if the 2 ladies from Portland, if one of them wants to write me on Facebook or both of you and tell me who you were, or write me an email, because I mean, you were very nice, but you just ran. I was literally sprinted away from me. And Carl and Jessica have been at the Tees, by the way. They're very nice people. So Paul Hoover, he organizes all of us, and we decided to go march across the street. Paul Hoover takes my suitcase. And I go, "I got that." And he goes, "No, that's fine. I got it." And everybody just goes, "Dude, you knew after what you said on stage that Paul was going to get your fucking suitcase." I'm like, "Oh, all right, that's fine." And he could not have been cooler. We go across the street, and we just started ordering a ton of sushi, and we ate, and we had so much fun. We had so much goddamn fun. Oh, and Dizzy, I should tell you this. She, like I said, after I met everybody and I shook hands and stuff, and she comes up to me and she's like, "Can I give you a hug yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, please do." And I gave her a hug. And she goes, "Why did you say that people know who I am?" I said, "Because I've talked about you on the show." And she goes, "Do I need to listen to find out what you've said about me?" I said, "Well, you're never going to find it. It's not like I do every fucking show about you, Diz." It was because it was such an arrogant thing to say. It was just like, "Do I need to listen to find out what you say about me?" Yeah, good luck, needle in a haystack. It's not like every show it's like, "All right, now we're going to talk about Dizzy." What the fuck? I don't know how she meant it, but however, that's how I took it. So then we went across the street. And we just drank and ate and had fun. And then Dizzy might have had a few. So Dizzy decides to tell me loudly. She's across the table and over. She's like 3 seats away from me on the other side. And she just goes, "Hey." She goes, "I thought it was great." And she told me that at the bar, across the street at the theater. She's like, that was amazing. But then when we were there at the bar, she's like, "I thought it was great, but a little misogynistic." But I guess I understand. I mean, if that's your approach. And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what do you mean misogynistic?" And she's like, "Well, you can't," and I can't reveal a lot about the stories, but she's like, "You can't do this and then do this at the same time." And I said, "Yeah, I can. They're jokes." She's like, "Well, you can say that they're jokes, but they're misogynistic in nature." And I go, "They're fucking jokes." I go, I don't know what you're listening to or thinking of." She goes, "Well, no, I know you, and I know you're not like that." And I go, "Like what?" She goes, "Misogynistic." I go, "I love women." She goes, "I know that, and that's what I know about you. But it is inherently misogynistic to do this and then do that." And I go, "No, it isn't. They're jokes. That's it." And then everybody in the fucking area starts jumping into this conversation. Which is great because then I can back away from this conversation. So then there's a huge discussion of misogyny and whether what I said was that. And it's funny, Carl's like a cop. So he's got these fucking, you want to talk about vascular and yoked. His fucking forearms are as big as my head. At one point, it was, I had me, Gabby, Lewis, and Paul Hoover and Shannon on my side of the table. And it was Carl, Dizzy, and Jessica because Warren and James had stepped out to use the restroom. And I said, all right. I go, what if we had a fight right now? My 5 against your 3. And Carl's like, I don't even need these 2. I beat the shit out of all of you. And I was like, you think so? And he goes, I fucking know so. So Carl's got a bit of the alpha male streak in him. But also, when you think about it, the fact that I was proposing a 5-on-3 fight in a sushi bar doesn't make me any better. Dumbass. But I was having fun with him because he was like, I was a guy. So it was kind of fun to be like a man with that dude. So then Dizzy's on the misogynistic tip and she's talking to them. Oh my fucking Kid and Play? What the fuck was that? She's on the misogynistic tip. Hola, hola, eh. All right. You're rolling with Kid and Play. So she wouldn't let it go. And I just didn't want to. I just couldn't. She's my friend. And I was not about to get into a fucking 3-way fight with her and her purse vodka. So I was like, I can't even fucking hope to be involved in this. So I that was fine. I was like, please, you've had a few, good for you, but I'm not misogynistic, and I'm sorry that you think that I am. But she was just, this is the relationship I have with her, is, because she did it at the tees all the time too, where she'd bust my balls, and it'd just be this thing where I'd look at her like, I don't, all right, I mean, because I don't know if I can bust her balls back, because I don't know her well enough, you know what I mean? I mean, I do know her, but there's also that hot girl, dumb guy thing happening where I don't.
That's funny.
Well, I'm serious, like, because I don't want to look like an idiot. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but then also I've just kind of taken the gloves off with her a few times, and that's been fun. So, but I just kind of tuned her out at the fucking table, and then she would say stuff, and I just go, I would answer it, but I didn't want to have an argument about it. But it was okay. She was needling me. She was doing her thing. So we fucking wound up eating, and everything was great. We hung out, and then my favorite thing is Paul Hoover leans over to me, and he goes, "Hey," he holds up his phone. He goes, and I just look at his phone, and it was his appointment book. And it said 5:52, pick up Mike Schmidt. He put 5:52 in his phone because I told him 5:52. Paul Hoover's the man. Could not have been nicer. Gave me his CDs for his band, the Chupacabra, and I put it into my computer. It's great. I mean, it sounds like 70s funk. I said that to him, and I was like, they're all shorter songs. I said I listened to the 2 longer songs because that's what I wanted to hear, and it's very. That type of they're all instrumentals, and it's kind of got it's just fun. It was really, I liked it. I couldn't believe I liked it, but I did, and told him so, and I told him the songs I liked, and he was real friendly and nice about it. And then we all got up to leave, and Paul was not taking me to the airport. Victor, who came to the show, because I put it on Facebook, I'm like, hey, I forgot about this. Anybody wants to take me to the airport at fucking 4 a.m? That'd be great. And Victor was like, I'll do it. And then I met Victor and his friend James at the show, and his friend James did not know who I was, and his friend James is sitting there staring at me, and he just goes, that was incredible. I'm like, oh, good, it's nice to meet you. And he goes, no, that was like the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, oh, from the podcast. He's like, I don't know who you are. Victor brought me. And Victor's like, yeah, he's my friend. Like, I finally got someone to come and listen to you. And he goes, I will download all your podcasts, like, immediately. I said, oh, good. Well, that's good news. So now James, he's on board. Another James. Take that, Anti-Mike James. I've got another James to back up. Anti-Mike James. No, not Anti-Mike James. James the Anti-Mike. With his fucking Vibrams. Oh, he's wearing toe shoes. Weirdo. All right, so he's a massage therapist. Smelled like cereal. All right, so he didn't really smell like cereal. It just sounded like a thing to say. I was going to say granola, and in my head, in the moment, I said granola doesn't have a smell. It smells like cereal. Idiot. So we get up to leave, and Paul shows me his phone that says 5:52. And we go outside, and I was kind of lollygagging inside, and I walk out, and Jessica is confronting a homeless guy. Confronting. Like, she's looking at him, she's like, you should keep moving down the street, buddy. You should just kind of keep moving down the street. And I'm like, what the fuck did I miss? And so I look at Jessica, I go, we got a problem? And she goes, yeah, he got all up on Gabby. And Gabby's this tiny little girl. And I guess the guy came up to her and like put a hand on her or pawed her a little bit, and then and he was loaded out of his mind, rocking on his heels. So I stood there waiting, but I didn't want to like supersede Jessica because she was handling it, so I didn't want to look like excuse me, man, coming through. So I'm standing next to her, and she's kind of telling the guy, you should just keep moving. Well, I can tell you, Carl doesn't care about superseding anything, and that's his girlfriend or his wife, maybe, I don't know, who was in the exchange. So he literally just stood between the two of them with his back to the homeless guy, and so now the homeless guy can't see Jessica because Carl's got a back the size of the sun, and finally the guy, he's still talking and then finally Carl turns around and he goes, you need to get out of here, you probably need to go. And Carl handled it well, but it was like I go, fuck, is he gonna break this dude in half? Because it was so funny to watch him do the cop thing on a guy. And also I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't have to do it because again, I'm the talent, folks. I don't want to get into a scrap with a homeless guy in Seattle, although it's probably a better ending to the story. And then I punched a homeless guy and stomped a hole in his chest. Anyway, you can get me at So at the end of the night, Paul Hoover goes to drive us home, and he drives me to my hotel, and that was great. And he was so nice, and he said his goodbyes. And then Carl he went off and got a cab. We all went our separate ways, but we all, I mean, it was so fun. We were all together. We were all, because Warren was also from Canada. I think he was from Vancouver, and he wants to get me to Vancouver. He was the same thing. He and Shannon. Shannon was also a new person. But yeah, I want to do Vancouver. There's a page to bring me to Vancouver, but it's cost, and again, we're trying to figure things out. But I had a fantastic time, and I was great. I mean, I was really good. And so I do that thing where I tell people, like, are you on Facebook? Make sure people know what they missed, and so people are very nice when they post stuff. It's a good commercial for the show to let people know what they, again, that's why I threw up the commercial from Austin, but it's different. It's different every time. So I go upstairs, and I have to get ready to be picked up by Victor at 4 a.m. And I had told him, I'm like, I said, if you want to get breakfast, come get me early. If not, pick me up at 4. And he texted me, he's like, 3:30 for breakfast or 4? And I said, 4. It's fine. Pack, go downstairs. I meet him. And he goes, well, this might be a good ending for your show in Seattle. My engine light just came on. And I was like, all right, well, what do we do? And he's like, well, we'll just tough it out. We'll try to get to the airport and see what happens. I'm like, good for you, Victor. Let's do this. And Victor, like, again, he's one of those interesting guys. He's a young dude who's in school. He's learning creative. He's majoring in creative writing and Japanese. Like this fucking weird combo. But he was super cool, and he was nice, and he drove me. And everybody's very complimentary. They've been listening to me for a long time, and they're very cool. So he drives me to the airport. I say goodbye to him. His engine light made it. I don't know if he fucking got home, and I don't care, quite frankly. That seems strong. No, I texted him right away, and I was like, I said, you make sure you text me when you get home. And he did, and he was home, and everything was fine. So I came home from Seattle on Sunday morning, and I had to go to right to work. I had to work a double, and I was gassed because I only slept 2 hours, and that was the 2 hours on the plane. I was kind of wired after the show, and I couldn't sleep. So I get on the plane, I sleep 2 hours, I get to town, and then I wanted to have breakfast because I got to Venice early because I didn't have to work till 11:30, so it was only 9:45, and I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm going to go to a good breakfast place. So I found a place called Beach 26, 26 Beach. And so I went there and ordered an amazing breakfast of fucking crab, bacon, avocado, onion, and cheddar cheese mixed with eggs served over brown rice. God damn, it was fucking good. But while I'm waiting outside, I should tell you, there was an event. There was a UFC on Saturday, and I had TiVo'd it. I was like, but the card was too good to pass up. I couldn't, because I knew I was going to be out of town, but I'm like, dude, Twitter's going to ruin this for you. Facebook's going to ruin this for you. But I avoided Twitter and Facebook all night. I hung out with people and I didn't look. Because I knew I had the fucking pay-per-view sitting on my DirecTV TiVo when I got home. But I had to work a double and get through all of that on Saturday. But I'm like, all right, I can do this. I won't look at stuff. Football's going to dominate anyway. So I'm waiting outside of 26 Beach to eat. And Bruce Buffer walks up. Bruce Buffer is the ring announcer for the UFC. He's the guy who says, it's time. And he's Michael Buffer's brother, let's get ready to rumble guy. He's his brother, but he's the voice of the Octagon. And he comes walking up, and I look at him and I go, Bruce Buffer. And he goes, hey, how are you? I said, do not tell me what happened last night. I taped it. I don't want to know. And he goes, best pay-per-view we've ever had in our lives. I said, pardon me? And he goes, the greatest. He goes, the greatest fight in UFC history was last night. I'm like, you're kidding. You're joking. He goes, no. He goes, I won't tell you who did it. I won't tell you who's in it. He goes, all I can tell you, the card top to bottom, the best card we've ever put on for a pay-per-view. And I go, fuck, I gotta get home. in my head, I'm like, I gotta fucking run away. And then I shook his hand and I lied and told him I enjoyed his work. Because what do you say to a ring announcer? He talks into a microphone. What the fuck? I do the same goddamn thing. So it was like, but I had to. I could not acknowledge that. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh man, you bring so much to the telecasts. Thanks so much. I love your work on the UFC. And he walked away to my head. I'm like, you are a liar. But I'm not a real liar. I like him. He's nice. But at the same time, I'm not a fan of Bruce Buffer's. That's the fucking weirdest thing in the world. He says it's time. He reads guys' weights. I mean, it's like he tells you how tall a dude is. That's about it. Are you kidding me? Because you know why? Because he looks, if you saw him, he's a dandy. He's like one of those dudes where you're just like, oh, and he's a lot bigger than I thought he was. He's as big as I am, like tall wise. Like he's probably 6'2", maybe 6'3", and kind of a buff chest. Like he's a big dude. They all are. Fucking Dana White's huge. I met Dana. They're all fucking buff, musclehead idiots. But Bruce Buffer, I knew him the second he walked up because again, I've been watching the UFC for fucking 15, 18 years. But it was so great because he's walking in and I just go, Bruce Buffer. And he stopped and he goes, hey. Because again, nobody else knew who the fuck he was, but I knew the second he walked up. But now in my head, I'm like, fuck, I gotta get home. Because I gotta work a double. So I'm here from 11 to 11. I gotta figure out how to fucking avoid UFC. I go, well, nobody's gonna talk about it. It's gonna be fine. So I go to work and I was fried anyway because I'd only worked 2 hours and I was really out of it. And finally, like at 1 PM, one of the busboys comes in and he goes, to one of the cooks, he goes, you see the UFC last night, man? It was and I go, dude, I'm taping it, dude. And he goes, you're taping it? And I go, well, I taped it last night, but I haven't been home yet. I won't know until later. He's like, oh, okay. But the thing is, the heavyweight champion of the UFC is Mexican. And so all these Mexican guys wanted to talk about it. And I'm like, so I put in my earbuds and I ran away. And so they're talking about it. I'm in my car, and then I'm like, I got to get the fuck out of here. So then I got another driver to cover the last part of my shift. Because I was fried again. I only worked 2 hours. So I just bailed at 5, and I went home and I watched it. And Bruce Buffer did not lie. It was the greatest fucking card with the greatest fight. It's so good. So fun. So then I talked to Lily on Sunday because we were trying to figure out our schedule for this week because she thought she was going to have jury duty. And we've got some other things coming up that I'll tell you about later. And so she's like, how did Seattle go? I said, it was fantastic. I mean, it really could not have gone any better. It was 2 hours that flew by. I lived in the stories. People were with me, and everybody was so nice, and I had a great time afterwards. And she goes, that's great. I'm so happy for you. And I said, Dizzy came. And she goes, really? I said, yeah. And Lily goes, did you fuck Dizzy? And I said, no. And she goes, all right, just thought I'd ask.
Seemed like the thing to ask.
And I said, all right. And then I said, so what's going on with the teas tomorrow? She goes, well, we got some out of town people. I said, I think I'm going to come. She goes, okay, great. I said, I have to work, but I'll come by afterwards. She said, that's fine. You'd tell me if you fucked Dizzy, right? And I said, Lily, if I fucked Dizzy, I would probably text you during. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. Our friend David Hernandez does all of the artwork and all of the music. And oh my God, the music. He does all the artwork and all the music for this show. And if you want to be his friend at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez, you can do that. And you can also hire him to do something for you artwork wise. If you go to artbydmh.com, that's ARTBYDMH.com. He's available there. Our friend Lily Bunchtup is available at Facebook.com/Lily Bunchtup. You can go ahead and be her friend there. You can follow her on 3 separate Twitter accounts. Twitter.com/Lily Bunchtup, Twitter.com/MNTs, and Twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out the tragic incident that kept her from a 3-way at one point in her life, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com. Joe business. Joe, your dirt. Joe business. Joe, your dirt.
that you haven't bought the big angry. Not yet. Buy it at your business. Look at that kick-ass art for sale. Tweaked audio just cannot fail. Buy it at your business. Hey, the Schmitty comes alive. He'll like rap or buy you one through five. Joe, your dirt. Buy it at your business.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. The producer of that show is a good friend of mine, despite what you may have heard last week or what you thought you figured out in your minds. I actually went to this week's Teas. We'll talk about that in a second. But the producer is my good friend who is slaving away and working so hard on so many different things and honestly making herself sick, too tense. She's got to stop. You got to shake it off, Lily. I'm disappointed. I want you to take care of yourself. You're my Lily. You can't do that. Lily Von Stupp. She is the producer of this show and my good friend, my great friend, and also runs the Monday Night Teas. Hi, Lily.
Hello.
How are you?
Sinus stuff, I think.
I about covered it. Yeah, you thought you had a migraine coming on, and it's sinus, and
I can't tell yet.
yeah. But I brought you chocolate, and what happened?
I couldn't taste it.
Could not
That's
taste the
a good
chocolate.
sign.
Agreed. Because chocolate is overbearing. That you should be able to
Yeah,
taste.
when you can't taste chocolate, it's usually a migraine for me.
Yikes. Well, I'm so sorry. We will finish up here and get you I'll tuck you in. I'll tuck you into bed. I'll read you. What do you want to read you?
Lily has 2 dads.
I can do that. Eddie and I will portray the 2 dads even.
And they both molested her. It's a very tragic book.
I did not know about the addendum. All right.
That's a terrible kid's book.
Yeah, it is. That's awful, probably. Unless it's to tell them, aren't you happy you're not them?
That's very true.
Aren't you happy you're not Lily? That's the end of the book.
Why would I go there? What is wrong with
No clue. I don't know. Well, you're addled. You're a little addled right now from sickness and medicine. Yeah. Well, let's talk a bit about the Monday Night Teas, which I happened to go to this week, and it was a ridiculously hot show as always. But a few kind of standout type people. Let's talk about is it Honey Bunny?
Honey Bunny.
Dudes.
Dudes.
Are the pictures at the Monday Night Teas page?
Not right now, but I'm gonna post the link because I saw Ginger just put it all out.
All right. This woman, Honey Bunny, comes on stage, and I mean, she looks like an icicle with tits because she's just like Icelandic and but still warm and inviting. But I guess she was billed as the something Barbie. I forget what it was.
Bendy
The bendy Barbie, and she had like a little fur coat on, and underneath it she had this really skinny black wrap. So she gets on stage, and burlesque people, I'm used to them flouncing around and doing their thing and dancing and heading around the stage, and there's always twists and turns, and they take clothes off. This girl takes her fur coat off. She's standing in place. She's just standing in one spot, and then she puts the fur coat on the ground. She's wearing this tiny black wrap, which you said was just a skirt, but she made it a dress. Yeah. And then this is in the first minute of her routine, she reaches up and she takes that off. So she's got nothing on but stockings, a G-string, and pasties. Already. Now, that's usually the end of the act. And she's also not dancing. So in my head, I'm like, all right, what's going on here? Yeah, you're supposed to dance. Isn't there dancing involved in burlesque? From what I've been told, from what I've heard, from what I've observed. But she does, it's all of a sudden she starts to kind of lilt backwards. She kind of leans and leans. And she keeps leaning backwards. And then you get the vibe. You're like, oh, that's what she's going to do. She, from a standing position, bends all the way back to the floor. And not quickly. In stages. All of a sudden, she went to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Held at 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And then her hands were on the ground and her feet were on the ground. So she was bent over completely backwards.
And in 6-inch heels.
6-inch loose-eyed heels
Platforms, yeah.
with stockings.
Crazy.
And then basically tucks herself between her own legs, crawls through and grabs her heels. And then unfolds the rest of her body the other way. And then turns around and pulls her like one leg up completely over her head and spins around. I mean, it was just, I can't even do it justice. She wasn't dancing, but she didn't have to be. What her body was doing was much more interesting. And it was in rhythm with her music. It was fantastic. So I mean, it's astonishing, quite frankly, because she's a contortionist. And so she bent. At one point, her chin was on the floor and her legs were over, and she just grabbed her own heels. Like it looked like she was in shoe jail. Like or
It looked like shoe jail.
so like the shoes were like right around her face, and she's holding the heels like, break me out of shoe jail. And it was incredible. So she bent all over the goddamn stage, and it was so fun to watch, so amazing. Because again, you do such a great job of getting different people, to do different things. Linda Majik was there and did her magic deal. That was great. Yeah, that was fun. And so there was magic, there was contortionism, and then hot dancers, of course. Estella Detroit was there doing her thing, and who. It's not Juniper Darling. Who was the first girl? It was Juniper Darling. Okay, good. And it was her birthday. Yeah. So she did a great job. I mean, it was just amazing. And I love the fact that it was all purple oriented, and then she had the purple ribbons on her shoes. I noticed those things, folks, because again, Ewan McGregor. So I might as well be in the Metro cab next time I'm in town. Is my point. So and then of course our friend Nikita Bitch Project came out, and she did an act that I had never seen. That was really, really great, but I'm torn here because I want to tell you about it. But at the same time, after the show, Nikita comes up to me and she's like, hello. And I said, well, hello, Nikita. And then her act had puppets in it. And then I said, hi, Nikita, how are you? And immediately her puppets like thrust into my face and they're like, blah, 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 and she's like talking to me with puppets. And I'm like, could you, for just a second, just for literally 1 second, be a human being and have a conversation with me? Oh, you like my puppets? They are very nice. Oh, my God. Yes, I get it. Puppets. I understand. That's fine. She goes, how is your show? I said, it's good. She goes, do you talk about me still? And I said, sometimes. I mean, you've come up. She's like, well, I don't think you've talked about me in a long time. And I'm like, so she was like, make sure you talk about me this week. And I'm like,
I don't think
Oh, really? She said the sentence. Make sure you talk about me this week. And so now I don't want to fucking talk about her this week because it just looks like I don't like.
Is she worth talking about?
Well, the act was incredible.
You should just talk about it.
No, I know because then it's a thing. Unless I guess I could spin it where she did such a great act, so I would notice her. So then I regain hand, like I regain the strength in this relationship.
Maybe she purposely did the best act she possibly could just to go, hey, remember me?
Yeah, that could be it. She was trying to get my attention. And she was I gave her a standing ovation because it was fucking funny and interesting and fantastic. All of me. Every single part of me. But it was really, really great. And it was just fun to see. Because it was funny and interesting and told a story and was good and it played along with the song. It was really good. And she was great. Jezebel was great. Everybody did a fantastic job. So I had fun going to the teas, and then I remember now what I was going to tell you. Remember I said talk about my face. That's what I said. Remind me to talk about my face because I saw Vixen Magdalene is our friend, and I was talking to her and her boyfriend after the show, and they were asking about how much weight I'd lost and all that. And I told them where we were at, and Vixen looks at me and she goes, "You got to be careful." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, you can't lose too much weight." I go, "Yeah, I can. I have too much weight to lose. It's fine." She goes, "No." She goes, "Because you know what? You lose too much weight and your looks will go right away." I said, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, because your face becomes different. Everything about you becomes different. And all of a sudden you're not really good looking anymore. It's like everything just changes." And I'm like, that's a fucking gamble I'm willing to take. Trust me, I've lost enough weight now that I could spare. I can spare the weight I'm losing. It's not like I'm, if I weighed 180 pounds and then I said, I'm going to lose fucking 200 pounds, then I'd be negative 20 and I'd be dead, of course. But at the same time, my goals aren't unreasonable. And I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm going to get that next week. But it just made me laugh where she's like, hey, your whole face will change and your body will change and you won't be good looking. And I was like, that's good. I'll gamble on that. Your boyfriend is standing here.
She just meant you're good looking. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I guess. Well, she does think that because she took a picture of me for her bear. Remember, did I talk about that on the show? She goes, I have a friend who's a bear, and he's a bear chaser.
Maybe she's afraid that he'll no longer love you.
She's like, he's a bear chaser, and so I have to get a picture of you to make him jealous. Like, why? She goes, because you're like perfect for him. It's like he has to know that I was here with you and he wasn't. So this is like 4 months ago or 5 months ago, and she took a picture and she's like, oh my God, he's so mad. I'm like, okay. But But that was fun talking to them and told me not to lose enough weight because my face will go to hell, I guess. I'm like, all right, well, again, chance I'm willing to take. So that was this week's Monday Night Tease. Now, next week's Monday Night Tease is, of course, it's the Halloween show.
It is the Halloween.
And everyone's excited. Now, you will be dressed up, I would assume.
Yes.
And is there a costume contest to that show?
There is.
And we're giving away fun Monday Night Tease stuff?
No.
Okay.
I'm giving away horrible prizes.
Ha! Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, by all means, folks, come in costume and try to win some horrible prizes next week. Who's performing?
Dr. Zumbo is hosting. April Showers is doing her amazing Elvira tribute. Joy Buzzer is the Frankenstein monster doing pickup. God, my mind is blank. I can't think of who else performing. There's a ton of them. I'm performing, provided I'm over this migraine by then.
Right.
And then we've got the Tulsa Skull Swingers afterwards.
Oh, nice.
I can't think of who's performing. I'm an idiot. My mind is blank.
A bunch of amazing people in costume and doing Halloween-themed acts.
Yeah.
So come on and check it out. Remember, you guys can go to the Monday Night Tease page at facebook.com/Monday Night Tease. Sign up there, become a friend, and get all of the information about the shows. And then you'll get pictures afterwards, too, of all the shows that have been taking place. And you will love them, and they will be great, and you will be excited, and you won't have to go searching for them. They will deliver right to you. In your feed, in your funky feed, folks. And let's talk about this. The Hollywood Burlesque Festival, folks. That's run by my friend Lily Munchtup as well. And that is coming up in the beginning of December. December
6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
4 days. 4 solid days of amazing burlesque. I understand my friend Dizzy Von Dam will be coming down.
She's coming down to headline on Friday.
I hope there won't be anything misogynistic going on because she would be happy to point it out. And I hope she doesn't do anything misogynistic either because I will be happy to point it out.
Staying with you?
That's actually funny. I don't know yet. We'll see. I wrote her on Facebook. I'm sure Zuckerberg didn't get her the message, so we'll find out. I'm sure in a month I'll be told whether or not she's coming. Well, good. So she's coming down. An amazing Russell Bruner, all sorts of amazing headliners. That'll be great and really fun and exciting. So tickets are available now at HollywoodBurlesqueFestival.com. Brown Paper Tickets is the headquarters for tickets for HollywoodBurlesqueFestival.com and also for the Monday Night Tease. Go and search Lily Von Stup's name, search Monday Night Tease, search Hollywood Burlesque Festival. Get yourself some tickets for all of these events. They're amazing. They're fun. I know for a fact that I'm gonna be at the Burlesque Festival. It depends on what days. I don't know if I can come all 4 days, but I think I'm coming Friday for sure, and I think I'm coming Saturday for sure. Who knows? Who knows, folks? It's up in the air. But if you listeners are coming out, you can tell me when to be there. I will make sure that I'm there the night that you're there, and I will meet you and shake your hand. And then you can. I will actually. You know what? I'll tell you this. If you buy tickets to the Hollywood Burlesque Festival, I will show up at the theater and I will hold a sign outside with your name on it, and then you can come up and meet me. How's that sound? That'll work out perfect. And then I'll drive you wherever you want to go. I will give you a drive somewhere in Hollywood. I will not drive you back. I will only drive you one way. But make sure you buy those tickets and come on out. That'll be fun. So the Hollywood Burlesque Festival, the Monday Night Tease, all run by the Powerhouse. Just like this show, run by the Powerhouse, the amazingly talented and unbelievably good friend of mine, Lily Von Stup, whom you can meet on Facebook and Twitter and all those other places that I told you about earlier. Go to Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy and be my friend. And while you're there, check out all the live dates. And by all, I mean one. There's only one live date left right now at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. Oh, no, you know what? Join the Westside 86 Jokers fan club page. We've had some pretty good response with that where people are signing up. We had a lot of fun last week with the I'm Done thing. And I don't know if it was fun, but there was a lot of stuff going on. And I think we got 15 new members this week. A lot of people were joining and having a good time, so I appreciate that. I don't know if they're having a good time. They're just joining. Jesus Christ. I got to quit overselling this fucking thing. It's a Facebook page. But please join. That would be great. A lot of places to interact there with people who also like the show, like-minded people. And on Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy, you can find information for my live date, which is next week. No, yeah, it's not next. It's not this coming Saturday. It's not 2 days from now. 3 days as I record, 2 days as you listen. But it is the following Saturday. The show is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, folks, at the Green Room Lounge in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Also, it's actually in De Pere, Wisconsin, which is right next to Green Bay. But the show is Saturday. I believe I'm starting. Is that a 6:30 start or a 7 o'clock start? I don't know. But I will tell you this. That is 7 o'clock your time, Green Bay, 5 o'clock my time. Not that that matters to you, but I just want to make sure that you know you're 2 hours in the future. So the show will be going on, and tickets are on sale right now at brownpapertickets.com. I can tell you this. this. It would be really cool if somebody bought some tickets to Green Bay, because as it is right now, it's going to be me, Tom Packner, KC Bills, and Jill. And then whoever Casey and Tom bring to the show. But that seems all right. That might be a little light. I may be underselling it a tad. But buy some tickets, folks. If you're coming to see me in Green Bay, buy some tickets and we'll have a good time. So those tickets are available now at brownpapertickets.com. Go ahead and search my name, search the 40-year-old boy. All of that will bring you to the page for Green Bay. And the tickets that are available now, tickets are $20, I think. Yeah, $20. So come on out. I would love to meet you in Green Bay, and you can hear some stories that I've been telling all over this country. And by all over this country, I mean in one place. Go also to, like I said, you can follow me at twitter.com. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And there's all sorts of cool stuff there. We're about to put an appearances page up, which I hopefully will be using quite a bit in 2014. But again, it all depends on how our plans come together. But right now, you can go to the Joe Business page, and we've got all sorts of stuff there for you. Tweakedaudio.com/40 is where you go for your earbuds and your cock ring watches and your autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and your gear. Please remember that we have artwork on sale right now. And Paul and Nicole, your artwork, I've been told by David Hernandez himself, is en route to me. And then Lily and I will sign it, and then it'll be en route to you. And then it'll be so fun for all of you as you stare at those pictures you've waited fucking 9 months for. Jesus Christ. But it couldn't be helped. There was some stuff going on David's end. But now it's all squared away. So I've been told it's on the way, which is good. Artwork is available. Downloads are available. The Big Angry CD is available. The downloads are Schmitty Comes Alive, that download, and also For the Life of Schmitty, the single from the interlude. And then year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5 of this show are available. Go ahead and pick those up, please. Those would be great individually, or you can get them together. The Big Angry CD, well, it's the UN of Evil box set, folks, if you get them together. The UN of Evil box set, folks. The Big Angry CD is available as well, $15 autographed from my website. I have orders pending. There are people like my friend Paul and Oliver in Germany and people like that. All orders will be caught up tomorrow because I've been traveling and all that kind of nonsense and working. But tomorrow is the day I go to the post office and everything gets sent out. And please enjoy what I'm sending you, which is the things you bought. T-shirts. It's late, folks. T-shirts are available as well. Your dirt shirts are available right now, and there's still women's sizes available. I sold a bunch actually in Seattle, but there's women's sizes, men's sizes. Men's goes from small to 3X. Women's go from small to 2X. So those shirts are available right now. Go ahead and pick those up. That would be great. You will go and wear your dirt shirt, and if you want to bring your dirt with you everywhere you go, folks, there's a your dirt ringtone available at the Facebook page, at the Westside 86 Jokers page. We put it up there for download, but if you just want me to send you the ringtone, as a few of you did, I will be happy to send it out to you, and then you'll sync it to your phone, and you will laugh uproariously like I do every time my fucking phone rings, because I'll be at work, and I'll let it go, and people stare, as I told you earlier in this show. And now it's late, and I need to let Lily heal. Well, she got to do the show first. Whoosh. Let the music... Never mind. So Lily has to do the show. I have to leave because I have to get up early and go to the gym. I've been hitting it really hard this week, like every day, and I actually had to back out today because they called me in early to work, but because I had a plan. And again, I'll discuss this with you next week, folks. But but I was at the gym yesterday, and I work with my trainer John, who's a nice guy, and we work all over the we go machine to machine, whatever. So he wanted me to do curls on the curl machine. So we went over there, and there was a guy working out there, and the guy was wearing jeans and a sweater, and he had a cell phone. He had a Bluetooth going with the cell phone on his belt loop, and he's doing curls like he's talking on the fucking phone. And he finishes the curls, and he leaves his towel on the machine. And John looks at him and goes, "Hey, can we work in?" The guy's like, "What?" And John's like, we're going to work in. Like, the first time he was like, "Can we work in?" And when the guy threw an attitude, John's like, no, we're going to work in. And as I get closer, the guy has cologne on. Like, really heavy fucking Paco Rabanne. I mean, just that stinky. It was like, it wasn't good cologne. It was just overbearing. And so the guy gets pissed, and he's like, whatever. And he grabs his towel, and he moves it off the curl machine. And I look at John, and I go, what the fuck is that guy's problem? And he goes, I don't know. But I don't like it. So I sit down, and I bust out a set of curls. And I walk away, And the dude walks over and he looks at both of us and he goes, shakes his head, and he uses his towel to wipe down the entire machine. Like where my arms were, where I sat, everything. He wipes it all down. And I'm not, like, I get sweaty at the gym, mainly when I do cardio, but we were just started early, so I wasn't really sweaty. And I'm really self-conscious about wiping up whatever the fuck I leave, because I leave trails. I do, because I get fucking sweaty. But we walked away, and he's mopping it up, and John looks at me, and he just goes, he goes, I fucking hate people like that. Because the thing is, I work here. I could tell you to leave if I wanted to. But you're going to throw me attitude because I'm trying to work in on a machine. We were trying to be polite at first, but then you fucking yell, and I go, well, the guy's on his cell phone, too. That's ridiculous. He goes, oh, he's like that all the time. I go, he's wearing cologne, too. He goes, yeah, I know. I go, well, maybe if the motherfucker didn't wear his dress clothes at the gym, he wouldn't have to mop off the entire fucking machine after I got through with it. And John started laughing. He goes, you know what? We should tell him that. And I said, you know what? Actually, we should. And John's like, wait, what? And I go, yeah, let's go. Let's go. And he goes, no, I can't fucking tell him that. I go, that'll be hysterical just to see his face. I go, hey, if you didn't wear your dress clothes at the fucking gym, you wouldn't have to mop up after me. And he's like, dude, you can't start a fight in the gym. And I go, well, I'm not going to start a fight. I'm just going to say that to him. And obviously he's not going to do anything. He's just going to scowl and walk away. He goes, yeah, but I work here. I don't want to lose my fucking job because you went over there and started a brawl with this guy. And he says, then I got to throw you out. I'm like, oh, that's a good point. I go, but it's exercise, right? It's exercise for all of us. And he's like, shut up. Just shut up. He fucking kills me. I guess I got to bore the shit out of him with stuff all the time. I'm human lunch meat. I'm nobody. I'm baloney in pants. God damn it. Why do I think I'm somebody special? Why do I think I'm anybody interesting? I'm not. All I bring to the table is everything that everybody else does, but louder. Don't hit snooze on me, motherfucker. I am a hilarious noise machine. I'm going to tell you this. You need to sit down and reevaluate your life if you can pull 2 midget Indian wrestlers out of your skull at any time. You know what? I don't even need you people here. Seriously, I do this. I love me. I don't give a fuck what you think, how you think. God damn it, I'm the greatest. I can't go for Schmidt. No. No can do. 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 No can do.